chill or I'll dust you.
She is Dooney, so shake your booty. Coming up with this, she's gonna be quiet. Gonna stop you and cause havoc. She is Dooney, she's fucking groovy. From the forest to your screen, gonna make you wish she's looking clean. Such a beauty, looking for action, looking for lust. Shrinks you down if you land in her bust. She is Dooney, she's here to boogie. With a big old gang, she could do no wrong. You bet your wrist, this is her theme song.
Alright, can you guys hear me? Finally back on Twitch, been gone for almost 7 years. Oh, well, welcome back. Yeah, if you're seeing a lot of drop frames, there's not a whole lot I can really do, honestly. Like, so hopefully it's not too bad. At least that's what I'm kind of hoping. If not, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. I was really hoping it would not do this, but it's also been storming, so I guess I probably should have expected better. Um, but yeah, let me know. Like, is it bad? Like, is it something people can manage with? Um, the problem is I don't know what to do for a return stream. And, honestly, just chatting and catching up with people would probably be just like be an ideal way of doing it. Yeah, let me go ahead and but for now it's fine. Okay. That's good at least. At the very least, it's not in the red for a very long time, so that's good. Let me go ahead and go to my dollhouse, and hopefully that would make things better. Um, but hello everyone, how are all of you doing? How are all of you doing? I hope everyone is doing alright. I am go load up some D&D Tavern music for this. Hopefully it works well. If not, then I'll probably just use what I have on the good old PC. Let's go with this. Let's go with this. As opposed to how I was last. I saw, and I am so sorry, Azri. That is the worst luck ever. Like, I would be like. Alright, here we go. Hey, darling. Hope you're doing well. But I'm glad you're doing better. I would be depressed for a while if that happened to me. So I completely get it. I'm just gonna put this down here so I don't see the light at all. So that way, like, you know, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So I'm not gonna pay attention to it. But yeah, on the very least I can do again. It's just gonna take a while to get back to that point. Yeah, understandable. Understandable. Alright, so, a few things I want to talk about. Like, one, like, you know, as I mentioned before, this was originally supposed to be day of me and Demaya's podcast, but we had to move it to Saturday, because, she had things to do with her family, like some fun things, and I didn't want to get in the way of that, so we are going to be doing something else instead, and I figured, like, you know, like, I would not mind having just, like, filling in just, like, an extra day of streaming, honestly. It's been a bit since I chatted with you all, so, that's what we're gonna do. We're also gonna be doing something fun here in a bit, might make a moda to speedrun achievements. You know, yeah. I also want to talk about the Donkey Kong Direct, real quick, cause holy shit, like, I was already gonna, like, I probably was gonna get the game only because, like, you know, I kind of want more Switch 2 games on the system. But, Donkey Kong Bonanza definitely sold me. It definitely sold me. And it's just like, oh, this is gonna be a wonderful experience. Yeah, I have to get this game. So here we are. Hi, Frost. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Donkey Kong Bonanza. It looks like a lot of fun. Pauline, as a young child, is very cute. Of course, like now, like, and I have a feeling this is kind of what they're doing. I do think, like, at this point, Nintendo's kind of retconning the whole, Cranky Kong was the original Donkey Kong. Or just, like, Pauline is different from Lady from the original Donkey Kong. It's gonna be one of those two. Because, yeah, like, and you know, I know Nintendo isn't one for continuity and whatnot, but, like, it definitely seems like they're retconning and just, like, making, like, kind of just basically a soft reboot. Um, but we are getting just like kind of just like an origin story, just like, oh, this is how Donkey Kong and Pauline met, and I do like the dynamic. I think the dynamic is really, really cute. Let's see. I don't think they're retconning anything since Cranky still mentions Mario and says he's DK's. Still mentions Mario and says he's DK's grandpa. Well, yeah, I mean, he's always gonna be DK's grandpa, but just like. Oh, but if he still mentions Mario, then yeah, I guess he would still be the original Donkey Kong. Then in that case, it might be a time travel plot. There's always the chance that like Pauline and um the lady in the first game are now two separate characters now. Like, there's always a chance of retconning that portion of it, but there's also the possibility that, yeah, it is time travel. Let's say it gets switched too soon, but after some. Wait till the library fills up more. FOMO's gonna be a bitch. So, oh, I feel that, Asri. I was going through that when, like, I thought I wasn't gonna be able to get the Switch 2. That's a New Donk City, which is the mayor of, and it was only named that after she became mayor. Oh, that's interesting. That is very. It might be a time travel plot then. Maybe. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. No matter what they go with the direction, I feel like it's gonna have a very nice and cute story. Like, from what I seen, it just like the dynamic between just like Donkey Kong and Pauline looks really, really cute. It reminds me of Wreck-It Ralph with Ralph and Penelope. It's sort of that dynamic. Dynamic. Shrink to say this time. Yay, correct. Listen, accidents happen, Marin. They happen. Yeah, FOMO almost won, but after me some second thoughts and second opinions at the very least, I can say it's better to wait. A very heartwarming story. Yeah, and that's the thing that I'm excited for the most. Is it's gonna be a heartwarming story about the two of them. Good. Put Shino in the jar. Listen, I'm not gonna put Shino in the jar. Relax. Unless he misbehaves. If he misbehaves, then he's going in the jar. I just hope it doesn't do what Yoshi's New Island did. Right, because what Yoshi's New Island did, like, for those that don't know, because I recall everyone being upset about this. In Yoshi's New Island, literally, like, I think it's at the very end of the game where it's just like, oh, Bowser, current day Bowser, like, traveled back to the past to fight Yoshi or something like that. And people were just like, okay, that's kind of an asshole. What the fuck? It was something like that. Traveling through space and time. Oh, I forgot about the space part. Traveling through space and time. I mean, he already did that in Yoshi's Island. Yeah. See, I never. Well, okay, I technically played Yoshi's Island DS for a little bit, but like I did not know that was a thing. Still, I think in like in New Yoshi's Island's case, like I mean, people already I don't think already cared for the game all that much because no one ever talks about Yoshi's New Island. Then again, no one ever talks about Yoshi's Island DS as well. But especially in Yoshi's New Island case, where people just like were just like kind of fed up. It was because like if I'm gonna take a guess, I'm gonna say the Bowser that showed up at the end of Yoshi's New Island was giant, and this was around the era of New Super Mario Brothers, where it would always end with a giant Bowser, and people were really sick of it. Wait, hold on. Wait, but Dooney, I know you might hate this, but I used to make a story where Shadow Milk. Hold on, Marin. I'm trying to make sense of what you're saying. Hold on. Where Shadow Milk shape fit. I'm gonna assume that's shape shit to look like you. But he gets stuck like that, and Perfect Vanilla calls him Dooney. Shadow Milk. Oh, it's like a cookie run thing. Okay. So, sorry if you don't. I mean, you do what you want. You do what you want at the end of the day. Like, I don't mind too much. Like, as long as you don't make it public, then I think it's fine. Behind closed doors, you do whatever you want. Like, I tend to have, like, so I don't mind people using AI, but I would like it to just, like, kind of just, like, you know, kind of take that distance. Don't worry, I keep it to myself. Okay. I am curious what led to just, like, Shadow Milk Cookie shape shifting into me. Because that is definitely a very interesting route. Anyway. The AI stuff. Oh yeah, I got what you meant, Azri. Let's see, what was I talking about before? But yeah, I'm looking forward to Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's gonna be a really fun time. I'm good. Hang on, I'm trying to see if I can get... Alright, that's about as good as I'm gonna get. Also, hang on, let me drink some water. My throat's been really, really raspy, so if I sound off sometimes, that's why. Also, hi, Lancer. Did you see the art I made for the archery stuff? I saw it. It looked so cute, Frost. It looked absolutely adorable. Well, things would probably seal off Cunty Kong cart. No, Spice. Uh-huh. Yeah. Alright, let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Or is that gonna be it? And again, they were not trying with Cunty. Is it actually Cunty? I thought it was a different name. I thought it was like Poppy Kong or something. Like, it wasn't actually Cunty, right? Surely they wouldn't actually call her Cunty Kong. Yeah, Poppy Kong. Yeah, I knew it wasn't crazy. Like, I saw that just like, there's no way they called her Cunty Kong. Someone being me. I think it was someone being Mimi. But anyway, we can probably talk about this more over the the stream. But today, so about a couple years ago, I did another RPG horror stream where just like I was reading RPG horror stories. And, you know, and whatnot. And I'll be doing more or less the same here. And it seems to have a lot to work with from what I, like, glanced. Hang on. I might... Let's see, hold on. I might want to do this a specific way. Okay, alright. So I'm probably just gonna just kind of relax here in my dollhouse, since I don't usually get to do this often and whatnot. But yeah, a few things to go over before I'm reading these stories. One, to play things a little bit safe, anything that is labeled SA, I'm gonna probably save for the end if we have time, because last time I did read a few stories that involved SA, and I think that made a few people uncomfortable. So I'm gonna do what I can to avoid doing that. So we're gonna avoid topics like SA for now. And if it gets to the point where I run out and I'm like, and it's just like in like, you know, like if I run out of stories and whatnot, then I'll probably put a warning like, hey, there's SA involved. If you don't want to be around for that, then feel free to mute the stream and do something else. Also, I'm gonna be also trying to give my own 2 cents on some of these topics. Or some of these stories, so like, you know, probably, cause give my own 2 cents, like, okay, like, this is probably what they should have done and whatnot, you know, just like for some interesting, like, commentary, and also to give advice for anyone who's looking to be like either a DM or a player, like trying out tabletop RPGs. That said, let me check to see how well this is. Okay. Probably gonna have it like this, and then maybe crop it a little bit. So maybe make that. Yeah. Then right is already cropped, so maybe, yeah. Do something like that. Okay. If you can't read the text, let's see, I do want to make that a little bit bigger. Okay. That should be doable. Man, some of these... Oh, they definitely can. They definitely can. Alright. So, for this first story, natural 20 means the opposite of why tended to happens for catastrophic event. Right, okay. Actually, I'm gonna quickly, before I start the story, I'm gonna quickly grab a cough drop, as I have been having to do, just so my voice is a lot clearer. Okay, alright. I am back. Smart. Okay. So, Okay, so as I was saying, natural 20 means the opposite of why tend to happens for a catastrophic event, right? Summary. DM rules that my character, a fighter paladin and trained boxer, who I had explicitly stated, wanted to deal non-lethal damage with his fist to knock an NPC unconscious, accidentally broke the NPC's neck because I had rolled a natural 20. Crit success for 2 times max damage. Edited to add, this happened many years ago, late 1990s or early 2000s. It's all water under the bridge now. Okay. So I'm glad they just, clarified that. Okay. I remember a time in D&D 3.5 when my character deliberately wanted to cause non-lethal damage only to punch an NPC unconscious without causing massive injury. So we could later question him. And because my character's alignment was lawful good. My Street Brawler fighter paladin had improved unarmed strength speed, so he could theoretically cause lethal damage with bare hands. But I specifically stated I wanted to merely knock the NPC unconscious. As a trained boxer, my character should know how to pull his punches, right? Right? Then I rolled a nat 20 on the attack roll, confirmed the crit, and rolled max damage on the unarmed punch. Sweet, I thought. Double stun damage is sure to knock the opponent out. Instead, the DM ruled that due to the crit, my boxer had landed a mighty punch and broken the NPC's neck. I was aghast. I asked all dialogue paraphrase, but I didn't want to kill the NPC. I had a nat 20. Shouldn't that let me succeed on what I wanted? Shouldn't accidentally killing him be the bad outcome on a fumble? No, the DM argued the rules say that a confirmed crit means extra damage. So he gave me extra damage. He seemed to think he was doing me a favor. A nat 1 would have been a miss, so he didn't understand why he suddenly demanded to be able to break necks on a miss. Because I explicitly said I only wanted to deal non-lethal stun damage, I repeated. Your feat means you automatically deal lethal damage with fists, the GM disagrees. But by the rules, even characters wielding a sword can simply decide to deal non-lethal stun by hitting the opponent with, say, the flat blade or the pommel, I replied. This is the same, only in reverse. Yes, but to do that, they have to take a -4 penalty on the attack roll, which you didn't take, the DM said. I argued, but the default on unarmed strikes is non-lethal damage. Unarmed strike means my character counts as armed while unarmed and allows me to do lethal damage with an unarmed strike without a penalty. But surely I can simply apply the feat to an attack rules-wise and evolve to non-lethal if I choose to. My character is a trained pugilist. He knows where to hit people now hard. Do you want to penalize my character for having bought that feat? The crit means you hit him way too hard. You dealt more stun damage than he had HP, so it went to overflow and became lethal. This is a rule from Old Shadowrun 3rd edition. Shouldn't that just knock him unconscious? Accidents like that happen in real life too. Deal with it. Maybe next time your character will be more careful. The GM admonished. Also, there were witnesses that your character got into the tavern brawl and killed someone. Lesson learned. No good deed goes unpunished if a DM doesn't want player characters to take NPCs alive. And so yeah, so this is a little kind of like a lighthearted horror story. So like I mean, they did say that yeah, it's water under the bridge, but I definitely have been in games where like I do think I feel like I've been in a couple games where like they say like, oh, like if you're trying to do non-lethal damage, but you get crit, you end up killing the person. So, and I'm not inherently... Oh, yes, I will be... Oh, yeah, I'm gonna get to that read, because, like, I do have opinions on that. Like, I'm not inherently against the idea of just, like, a crit equals lethal damage, because, you know, accidents happen. Accidents happen, you know. And, you know, some people just don't know their own strength. So I'm not entirely against it, but I think, like, you know, talking about just, like, hey, like, can we, you know, not have that be a thing if you are really good. Because I also understand, like, the player side of things, like, oh, well, I thought if I had rolled a natural 1, then I would have killed them. Which, by that logic, I think also makes sense, because, yeah, like, you know, a natural 1 would mean you missed. But I can also see the argument just like, oh, well, you do try to knock them unconscious, but you end up killing them. Like, so I can understand it from both sides. I do think the DM was being a little bit of a dick at the end of there, because it's just like, oh yeah, maybe next time have your character be more careful. And just like, dude, I can't control when I roll a nat 20. I can't control what I roll. I mean, for narrative story reasons, then yeah, you know, the character should be more careful, but just like, if we're talking just like, you know, out of character, that's out of my control, you know. At the end of the day, a crit's a crit. If it happens, it happens, even unintentionally, yeah. Yeah, so I think this is stuff. I'm glad it's water under the bridge, but it's just like, also just like, it's also just like, I can understand like where both sides are coming from in this case, where they roll crits easier as a class. Yeah. I'm in a campaign where just like one of the players, you know, he tends to min-max, but he, like, sometimes he'll want to do non-lethal damage, but he accidentally rolls like crits and stuff and ends up killing them anywhere. He's like, oh no. let's see. What do people have to say? Okay, yeah. Alright. I gotta read all that. Okay. So that was our first story. You know, kind of harmless, I would say. Just kind of harmless, fun. Not like super, super serious as some of these horror stories get. Oh, okay. Let me not roll to land on a Bowser chance time and gets it before Mario Party nowadays makes it easier to not land on them. Okay, so this next one is okay, so this one's gonna be a medium story. Okay. So the intimidation skill is worthless apparently. Not a big core story, but this moment between a DM and me some years ago still makes my head scratch. He had secretly broken into a lab of a mad scientist to retrieve some MacGuffin in there. We find the cowardly assistant. He's cagey as hell as we question him where said MacGuffin is being kept. The DM said he looks like he's about to alert the guards. Our barbarian rolls to intimidate him. Success! I say you're going to stay quiet and tell us where the MacGuffin is right now if you want to leave here with all your fingers and toes. I have no qualms about harming the lapdog of a scientist with a god complex that experiments on. The inventor told me he responds by attempting and screaming for the guards. Okay. We end up pulling out the encounter and have to fight our way out. While we're killing the bastard, I question the DM asking why he failed my intimidation. DM, oh no, you succeeded. You intimidated him. Like anybody, he responded how anyone would when feeling threatened. Fight or flight, you know? But I was trying to intimidate him into staying quiet. I succeeded, but he did the opposite of what I was scaring him into doing. DM, yeah, no, that's not how people work. When a person is threatened, they default to what they would do when they feel in danger, just like animals do. Okay, but what's the point of the intimidation skill then? What do you mean? It's just for scaring people. It's a pretty worthless skill, honestly. You should try persuading them. Oh, Jesus. Yes, of course. My dragonborn barbarian who grew up in the waste should be using his silver tongue and winning smile to charm people in compliance. That's the right move. Sure thing. Years later, I'm still confused by that deeming choice. Okay. Kind of breaks the immersion. Like you could have been like, oh, it was a really high DC. So like, don't be just like, oh, you succeeded, but, which you know, kind of goes into the yes, but or yes, or no, but or just like that kind of philosophy, but to just like okay, so I don't mind. I don't necessarily mind the idea, just like, just because it's a success, things don't work out the way you expect them to. But that's also good, like, frustrate your players and whatnot. Horror stories? Hi, Nova. We're going into RPG horror stories. Basically, to explain it, RPG horror stories is a subreddit. Like Chucky, not like Chucky horror, more like horrible experiences with tabletop RPGs. So like, it is a subreddit on Reddit, and essentially, it's kind of like, yeah, essentially, it's just people telling their like horrible experiences with D&D and the horror stories that come from them because of those awful experiences. But yeah, as I was saying, I don't think it's inherently wrong, but I think the reasoning is kind of, like, I mean, besides that, like, you know, it's kind of a frustrating thing, and I would not recommend just, like, kind of just pulling the rug under your players like that, even if it is a success. I don't know, that's just me. Um, I don't, first of all, I don't inherently agree, just like, no, that's not how people work, like, you know, if, because it's gonna vary from person to person, you know. Like, yes, if someone is threatened, they might just, you know, fight their way out. But, you know, there is always a chance that, yes, they will get scared. They absolutely will get scared and just, like, kind of just, like, give in. Especially since they said this person was a very, very cowardly. So, so there is that. Also, at the end, there's just like where the DM's just like, oh yeah, intimidation's a pretty worthless skill. Um, you should have picked persuading. That's no, you don't say that. You don't say that to a player. Don't be like, oh, this skill's pretty worthless. You should have done this. That is a big pet peeve of mine. Don't ever be like, don't ever be like, yeah, don't. You should have done this with your character and said this. Like, do not do that. Um, um, my my advice would kind of fall into what I said earlier. Have the DC, if you want that fight or flight, just have that DC be a lot higher. That way, when it fails, it technically works, but not in the way that you want. In that way, it's just like, well, you didn't pass the DC threshold, so that's why he chose fight instead of flight. Um, and whatnot, and I think that would have been more reasonable. But to be like, yeah, you succeeded, but it still didn't work, and it's just like, well, gee, thanks. I guess I'm no longer using intimidation around you, or just any other skill. If you're gonna be like that, because, yeah. So, yeah, the DM definitely, I feel, kind of sucks here. Hi, Bit. How are you doing? We're currently reading RPG horror stories. Okay. I'm alright? Okay. I'm actually gonna step away for a quick moment. Probably gonna run a couple ads. I probably won't run ads, so yeah. I will be. Well, actually, I will run ads. What am I thinking? Okay. Oh, well, actually, oh. Hi, yeah? Yeah, Dova? Hi? Hi? Hello? What is it that, what does the Dova want? Hmm? Oh! Protect your hot. Protect your shinies, roll them d20s. Aw, thank you, Dova. Thank you, Dova, so much for the raid. I was about to take a bathroom break, but, you know, I'll talk to you guys for a moment. But how was your stream? What were you playing? Hello, Raiders! Hope you're all doing wonderfully. I am Doomy, the size-shifting fairy. I tend to be small, as you see. I'm in my dollhouse at the moment, because I live here, in the forest. But I can also be, like, human-sized or much, much bigger. Or I could make people a lot smaller than me. Now you can take break. Okay. Alright, I will be right back, everyone.
Is someone
Oh, thank you
following
for the
me?
phone, Inferno Snake. I'll be right back. One in the hallway. I just need to figure out how.
Become small.
What are you talking about? You were always that size. You were always that small.
Oh.
It's just, you know, you were spoiled by the fact that I was smaller than you, that you forgot just how big you were.
You know, that's fair. That does sound right.
Yeah, it sounds completely right. And I'd never lied to my friend.
Yeah, that checks out.
Shrink gaslighting! Like, let's see. I do think she has a really fun personality. I like her vibe. I'm sorry. It's okay. I'm sorry, I scared you. Yeah, what do you want? What do you want?
I was just gonna say you should play 1,000 Year Door. I played it and it was really fun.
I see. I see. I see.
I really scared you. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I didn't know how to get your attention, so I just poked you. So sneaking didn't work, so our only option is to kill. Have fun with it. Hey, just over here. Okay, I am back. Thank you for being patient with me, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful time so far. Oh, jeez, my voice. I don't know what is up with my voice today. It's just like, it's a lot worse than usual, so I do apologize if I do not sound my best. Hey, little red house. Oh, fuck, I realized I forgot to give you a shout out, Doba. let me give Dova a shout out first, and then I'll give you a shout out later, Little. But how was your stream? What are you playing, Little? See. Delta D. Dova. Yeah, I don't have any of my mods here. Like, I think has been pretty busy as of late, so she hasn't been able to be around. I kind of loot game called him. Oh, I've heard of that a little. Hi, Siege. But yeah, I should probably get more mods here at some point. Because it would be helpful. What was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. I completely forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, let us continue with our next story. And this is gonna be a long story. A very, very long story, so it's gonna take us a bit. We're going to see how... Little, I somehow doubt that. Just making a mod. What could possibly go... Yes, what could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? So, alright, later, Siege. That's a lot of decks. Okay, so... Alright, so the story is, the Chosen One and her angelic bodyguard tried to get my character sacrificed to an archdemon by cultists. Oh boy. So, English is not my first language, so sorry for any spelling errors or similar. I did my best to fix them. I figured I'd share another one of my bad experiences with online roleplay. Okay, so... Someone who's posted horror stories before. Gotcha. Then fix my save file issues. Oh, jeez. This happened a few years ago. It was a game of Monster of the Week, which is a campy urban fantasy TTRPG set in the modern day, inspired by shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Supernatural. Yeah, I think I have heard about this game before, but I never really looked that far into it. Meaning, players investigate mysteries, most commonly a supernatural monster, then try to figure out how to stop it before something horrible happens. Each session is supposed to be mostly self-contained, like the episodes of the TV shows is inspired. Alright, that's cool. The game was played on a Discord server through text chat, and was just a random game with strangers brought together with the Keeper's LFG post. First player picked the Chosen playbook. The Chosen is basically the main character class, with some epic destiny ahead of them and being tailored towards combat. One of the playbook's special features is their own special weapon that they can customize. Let's call her character Buffy. Buffy's backstory was basically that her parents were monster hunters, coming from a long line of monster hunters, and they were killed by some powerful monster. She was raised by her terrible foster parents that hated her. She ran away from them. Then an angel appeared to her, told her that she's destined to save the world, and presented her a special sword forged in heaven. While that last part might sound like it's a bit too much, it's honestly par for the course for the Chosen playbook and the campy tone of Monster of the Week. The second player had the Divine playbook. The Divine playbook is basically like playing an angel or some kind of other divine being. It is obviously very strong and has access to supernatural abilities, like the Angel Wing special ability, which allows them to teleport and take others with them, and an ability that allows them to kill the big bad of the mystery without needing to find out their specific weakness, which is the entire game point of the game otherwise. That seems like a very, out of context, that seems like a very broken like thing to choose from. So, like, just really, really broken if it's just like, oh, well, it's the entire point of the game, and and you just kill them instantly, and just like, yeah, baby. That one, I feel like, just to cut in real quick, I feel like if you are gonna have to do something like that, there should be just some extra requirements in there. It shouldn't be that easily. Like, I get it's campy, it's supposed to be episodic and whatnot, but just like, also making sure things are balanced and making sure other players are having fun. I think that's also a very important step. And even I kind of agree. Yeah. Let's call his character Castiel. I get that reference. If you get that reference, you get that reference. I know who Castiel is. Castiel's backstory was that he was said angel sent down from heaven in order to guide and protect Buffy and help her achieve her destiny. There was nothing much to Castiel past this, and his backstory talked more about Buffy than his own character. Yeah. Also, before anyone else, yeah, I also get the Buffy reference, but just the Castiel definitely sticks out to me because it's just like, oh, supernatural reference. As the Divine, Castiel also had a special weapon. His was a thunder hammer. Basically, think Thor's hammer. I was playing the mundane playbook, which is basically like playing the funny sidekick that is surprisingly useful sometimes with strange plot abilities based on coincidence, like randomly stumbling over something plot important, giving other bonus XP if they protect or rescue them, etc. Playing one is honestly great fun and they're very useful. Let's call my character Xander. Xander's backstory was basically that he was a college student whose girlfriend went missing. He was very much not a fighter. He had a car, and the only weapon he carried around was a pocket knife. Basically, I want to make it obvious that Buffy and Castiel were both built as powerhouses in combat, while Xander was the sidekick character they were meant to protect, and in the process learn more about the mystery we are trying to solve. The game encouraged everyone to play into the tropes of the genre and not to primarily create a good story. And to primarily create a good story. Okay, yeah. Like, that is definitely, like, something I was kind of getting at with the Divine, because it feels like if the Divine can just, like, instantly kill the big bad, then why are the other characters there? At least that's how I'm reading into it. That unfortunately didn't really happen here. 2. Character creation. So to the game, from the general chat, we can give the players of Buffy, and Cassie were supposedly IRL friends that always played together. The Keeper, which I'm gonna assume is a GM in this game's case, mentioned that she was quite new to GMing, and this was her first time running a Monster of the Week game in particular. She encouraged us to speak up if we think that she doesn't do something right or we have a problem with something, so that she can adjust and learn from it. We thus made our group of monster hunters, and part of character creation in Monster of the Week is adding... Let's see, hold on. Start to see where a little bit of that is going. But if that's the case, that just reminds some role-playing story incidents. Yeah. Wait, where was I? I lost track where I was. Okay. We thus made our group of Each playbook has a bunch of predefined connections, and has to pick one of them for each player character. One option the main playbook has is you inadvertently save their life or a monster, though unlikely, through an unlikely chain of events, tell them what happened. So, I wrote a short scene where Xander inadvertently saved Buffy while she was fighting a werewolf. I see where this is going. Xander tripped over something, accidentally knocked over some store shelves, and one of them knocked the werewolf down. This allowed Buffy to finish off the werewolf while it was still pinned down. As Buffy, if she's okay with it, or we go with something else, Buffy was very adamant that this would ruin her character concept, and that our character doesn't need to be saved, which, alright, fair enough. Before I could offer an alternative, Castiel interjected and asked her if I'm trying to turn their shared story into a dumb joke. The character got them to calm down in order to keep the peace. I chose another option from the playbook, that being that my character looks up to Buffy and thinks she's really cool, which everyone was okay with. So, unfortunately, I guess this like kind of comes with the chosen one. Yeah, this kind of reeks of main character syndrome, both from Buffy and Castiel. Because they're just like, oh, well, my character wouldn't need to be saved. Is our story a joke to you? It's just like, it's supposed to be campy. Have fun with it. Come on. Aye. So yeah, it is definitely looking like these two are those types of players that have main character syndrome. And, they expect their characters to be the very, very best. Even though, like, I guess mechanically, technically, yes, they're the best. Because, like, one of them is the chosen one. One of them is the chosen one, and the other is, and the other one is a super powerful angel. And I imagine, that would come to with the thing of just having main character syndrome and causing that to get to their heads and just like being like, well, my character's the very best at everything, and if you try to change that, then fuck you. So what game is happening? Yeah. Oh. Okay. Alright, thank you, Merritt. So what game is happening? So from what I'm saying, this is Monster of the Week, which is a tabletop RPG I've never played. But, like, I have seen around before. But, like, I think the idea is basically it's a kind of campy, like, tabletop RPG based off, like, TV series like, Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Supernatural and how episodic those are. Which does sound really cool. Okay, so let's see. The game starts. Anyway, character creation is complete. The game starts. We are informed that there's recently been a string of murders and disappearances in the city our characters live in that we suspect are related to the supernatural somehow. We start out at our group's place watching TV, and there's a live news broadcast that reveals that several grisly murders have just occurred at some apartment building in the city, and that police are still on the scene. Cassio immediately wanted to use his angel wings especially to teleport our group to where the latest murders took place. This is prevented by the keeper, points out that his special only allows him to teleport he knows well, and the murder scene doesn't qualify. This resulted in a so far polite. Gotta put that in parentheses because I have a feeling this could escalate later about this discussion about this ruling, as Buffy argued with the Keeper that it should be possible if Cassiel rolls high enough. I backed up the Keeper in that the ability says that he can only try to teleport to a place he visited before or to a person he knows well. I was kind of confused by why this was even an argument since it seemed very clear to me. Cassiel argued that he saw the building on TV as well as some of the people there, so that's good enough and he could teleport to either to the place itself or one of the people there. Buffy was convinced that makes total sense, but understandably, the Keeper wasn't. Wait, Danny, question. What was the Giantess game clip of the Giantess you have? I wanted to see if I can find gameplay. Are we talking about the first clip in my BRB reel? That is from from a game called Crystal Wish Candy Chase. Which is a kind of a Giantess horror game. Where you get shrunk and you are kind of just like trying to find items while you're running away from Giantess and hiding away from them. Same developer as It's on the Mouse, fun fact. And it's actually just like that clip is kind of how I met the developer and how I ended up working with him on It's on the Mouse. But anyway, back to that. The story. Ultimately, Buffy and Cassiel begrudgingly conceded that this isn't how that special ability is supposed to work. So the group gets into Xander's car and we drive to the scene of the crime. When we get there, the Keeper mentions that the front entrance is still swarming with cops, hinting that we might have to look for an alternate way inside, as cops only let other cops and also the people who actually live there inside. Anyway, Buffy walks up to the cops guarding the front entrance with her special Chosen One sword drawn. When they try to stop her, she threatens them to let us through with her sword. Cassiel backs her up by throwing them with his hammer. There's like a dozen cops outside, and predictably, this results in them pointing guns at the two of them. One thing that Xander was good at was charm and persuading, so after a great roll on my part, he convinces the cops that his friends are just dumb LARPers who got way too much into character and that they are harmless. So they tell our group to get lost instead of trying to arrest us. In the general chat, Buffy tried to complain about railroading. Cassiel joined it. I'm starting to see a trend here where these two are just like, oh, this game isn't going our way, we're gonna complain about it. Yes, Azri, but what's the other part of the game? The other part of the game? Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about, man. But anyway, like, Cassiel joined in, claiming that this was unfair to Buffy and him, as they didn't know there were so many cops there. The Keeper mentioned that the street outside the apartment was swarming with cops before, but apparently they missed that. Another complaint of theirs was that the Keeper didn't even let them manipulate someone for the intimidation attempt, but as I mentioned, they tried to do that on a public street filled with other cops, so I was with the Keeper on this one. After some arguing, Buffy and Cassiel eventually agreed to drop this matter and get back to the game. What followed was us actually starting an investigation. We got inside the apartment building through some utility room back to entrance. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. It's hang on, let me type it in for you. Crystal Wish Candy Chase. That's the name of the game. That's in the game. You should find it. The fox is live. My brain is also kind of lost, but back on the story, the more I'm starting seeing holes are in the story. Like with, yeah, cause like yeah, Cassie, like they mentioned that Cassie and Buffy are IRL friends, so they're really close to each other, and they're probably just like the type, just like, well, this isn't going our way, so we're gonna complain about it. They very much have main character syndrome. Also, Marin, just when you say, are you talking about oh, Shino. Shino. I forgot about that joke. Ooh, scary. Hi, Prince Hans. We'll just keep it. Yeah. Let's try to be like, I guess, on topic, but just like after I'm done with the story, I don't mind like delving into other topics, because I'm definitely getting distracted. But yeah, we can definitely tell these two have very much main character syndrome. And if something doesn't go their way, they're gonna make a big fuss out of it. So let's see. Where was it? Where was I? After some arguing, Buffy and Castiel eventually agreed to drop this matter and get back to the game. What followed was us actually starting the investigation. We got inside the apartment building through some utility room back entrance. Talked to some people living there, quickly looked over the crime scene. One of the friendly NPCs lured the cop guarding away, and it looked like this was kind of ritualistic murder with occult symptoms drawn around the bodies. The whole time though, my character Xander does the legwork, as Buffy and Castiel seemingly actively refuse to engage in the investigation part of the game more than necessary, and in character, they both... Oh, okay, so they just want to be there to kill stuff, if I have to understand. They both scoffed and considered it beneath them. The Keeper tried to involve them, tried to have her NPCs talk to Buffy and Castiel whenever it made sense, but they either ignored them or scared them away. Eventually, one of the NPCs mentioned something from Buffy's backstory. Don't remember what exactly. This got their attention, and Xander had mostly free reign to investigate while they talked with that NPC. After we got out of the apartment building, Buffy and Cassia complained in the general chat about how they are bored, suggesting that this game needs more action. The Keeper promised them to keep their feedback into account. Oh man, they're sounding very unbearable. It's just like they do nothing but complain and just be like, this isn't like adapting to our playstyles. This game is boring. Welcome back, Little. The investigation continues. Following the apartment complex, we had other leads that progressively led us to multiple different locations. Through investigation and talk to NPCs, we found out that we are in pursuit of some demon-worshipping cults. I had to do the bulk of the work here, as Buffy and Castiel actively refuse to engage with the investigation part of the game, which... Just to remind everyone, the investigation part of the game is probably a good 80 or 90% of this game. At least that's what I'm going to assume what it is. Unless it's somehow involved their shared backstory, combat, or intimidating NPCs, which would often evolve into combat or get us into some sort of trouble because they went overboard. There were many run-ins with some weaker demons causing havoc that Buffy and Cat easily dispatched, and Xander helped, as well as some other tense moments. The Keeper tried to include combat and action. Frequently, this took the form of weaker demons showing up randomly and attacking us whenever Buffy and Cassio complained that the game is getting boring. So the DM is basically kind of giving in, trying to give them what they want, which probably isn't something you should do. Also, thank you, Frost. I appreciate you. If you're bored, then don't do an investigating like Soren. Go do something more like actual dungeon stuff. But yeah, exactly. Like, this kind of gives off the impression that either it wasn't explained to them what type of game this was, which I'm going to doubt, or they just ignored the rules and whatnot and just like saw this as like oh, like this we get to be the main characters and we get to be super powerful and whatnot, so like we can like so we can just like we're gonna be involved in a lot of combat, which nah and now they're complaining that this isn't the type of game they want. And, you know, I can understand, like, you know, different game types, you know, not everyone's gonna like the same thing. That part's understandable. What isn't understandable is if you're explained to you how, the game works, or how the world works, and you complain it does not go with your playstyle. That's the one thing you should not do. Thanks for the stretch break. I appreciate that. Also, I apologize. This is definitely a really long story. I might have to try and just like keep these to a minimum in the future, unless people really like these extra long stories. Let's see, where was I? When action actually happened, Buffy and Cassio would generally dispatch. If Xander got into trouble, they always left him hanging, even though they got bonus XP every time they tried to protect him, due to Xander's always the victim special ability. I pointed this out, but it never did seem to be a good enough incentive for them. The first time I pointed it out to them in general chat, Cassio called it metagaming. What? Really? Metagaming? When earlier you were complaining about not being able to teleport somewhere? Whatever your opinion about that is, that's what exists as an incentive for players to play into the traps of the genre. Yeah, like, I don't know how to feel about that. They would generally roleplay only with each other. Their characters would mostly either ignore Xander or tell him he's useless and should shut up, and generally kept wondering character why they even keep him around. Initially, I enjoyed the dynamic as if I wasn't prepared to play the underappreciated sidekick. I would have taken the mundane. Wait, hold on. I enjoyed the dynamic as if I wasn't prepared to play the underappreciated sidekick. I would have taken the mundane playbook. However, it eventually became tiring as their in-character banter got more overly hostile. In general chat, they would be mostly polite, but every so often they include some snide remark or drop a hint that they didn't really want me in this game. It was over enough that I could say something without worrying that I'll come off as a jerk. I just tried to ignore them as much as possible and engage primarily with the Keeper's NPCs. The Keeper was good at telling an interesting story and role-playing as various NPCs. It was part of the reason I stuck with the game and wanted to see at least this first session through. As the session or as the story was interesting, and have fun when Buffy and Cassiel weren't involved. Speaking of Buffy and Cassiel, the Keeper tried her best to include them. Include more action combat than the average Monster of the Week game would have in an attempt to make them happy, and frankly made Buffy says as the chosen one matter for the story. They still complain that she's not focusing on the fun stuff enough, and overall drag the game down. Anyway, some highlights from this part of the game. While exploring an abandoned mansion, some demons attack us. During the fight, the floor gives way under my character Xander, and he falls through it into a flooded basement. From the description, it's obvious that there's some kind of dangerous monster in the water. Cassiel and Buffy go chase down the fleeing demons instead of helping Xander, when Cassiel could just try to teleport him out, and if that failed, help him against that monster. Instead, Xander has to get out of the way by himself, when I later had him in character be like, "Geez guys, could have used some help back there." He's told by Buffy and Cassiel that he's useless and just tracking them down. 2. Some street thugs tried to mug our characters. While they pulled out a knife, it was hinted that they'd be easily scared off. Instead of trying to intimidate them, get them to back down in some other way, or reenact that famous "that's not a knife" movie scene, Buffy immediately went for the kill. When the rest of the thugs tried to run away after the night guy's premise, but Buffy and Cassiel did their best to hunt them down and execute them, with Cassiel screaming about how he's going to personally deliver their souls to hell, like some kind of angelic version of Punisher. Not surprising that these two would be murder hobos. Not surprising at all. Makes sense since they are very insistent on trying to kill things. When my character was like, "What the hell, guys?" he was told by them that, it's okay, they were criminals. Shut up! We meet with some mystical old woman who might be able to help. She said something mildly snarky to Buffy, in the vein of, "Oh, the chosen one! You must think you're so special, huh?" Cassiel then punched her for disrespecting Buffy, the witch didn't appreciate it, so it devolved into a fight and us losing whatever lead she might have provided. Yeah. I will say, I don't know how much of this is just the first session and not, multiple sessions. I could understand it being a first session issue, but I do think, after other sessions, the DM or the Keeper in this case would be like, I don't think I can continue on with this because, you two clearly want a different game than we want, so, because, I can understand that just, I can kind of understand, I don't want to kick them out because then there won't be a game. But there's a motto for tabletop games or D&D, and that motto is, no D&D is better than bad D&D. Because with bad D&D, that's how a lot of these horror stories happen. The cultist... Let's see, how much more of this do we got? Oh, gee. Okay. Alright. Well, yeah, I apologize. This is a very long story. Let's see here. Throughout these misadventures, we gathered some clues, though Buffy and Cassiel mostly got in the way when it came to anything that wasn't combat related. The latter part of the game featured a lot of Xander oopsing, using the Mundane's narrative, especially. But I forgot, this person's language is not English, so... I think this was the same. This was the same post as that. It's been a bit. Anyway, to randomly stumble across something useful, and the keeper always took it as an opportunity to find the new clues we missed due to failure, or Buffy and Castiel being themselves. So eventually, we finally learned just what we were up against. Basically, some evil demon worshipping cult was responsible for these murders, and they were ritual sacrifices. The cultists were collecting souls of the murder victims and trying to use them to fuel a ritual that would summon some archdemon whose name I don't remember. The cultists had their lair underneath some fancy hotel owned by the cultist cult leader. The ritual was in progress, and that's all those random demons kept showing up. We also learned that some guy who runs an occult bookstore in town should be able to help us defeat the cult and disrupt the ritual. So I suggested that we go to the occult store first to get some information before we go to the cultist hotel. In character, Buffy and Castiel both scoffed, told Xander that it's a waste of time, and while he's busy wasting his time, they are going to do something that actually matters. Their plan was essentially that they were going to check on that cultist hotel while Xander does his thing in the bookstore. I didn't mind, since I was really tired at them at this point. The keeper was also alright with us splitting up for a time, so she made separate channels for us for this part. I don't know if they clarified. Is this like over a voice chat like thing, or is this like play by post? Which, if you don't know what play by post is, it's basically instead of like role playing in voice, you role play in text, and you just like post whenever. Hi, Telzal. I think they said over text. I mean, it doesn't really change a whole lot, but just like, just something, just some like information that is like definitely useful. I had Xander go to the cult store, and to make a long story short, he learned that they need to get inside the cult's inner sanctum, walk inside the ritual circle, and chant some spell that the guy taught to Xander, which should put a stop to whatever the cultists are trying to do. And also that tonight was supposed to be a blood eclipse, so we needed it to do it before that happened, otherwise it's too late and the ritual is a success. After he walked out of the cult store, Xander overheard some NPCs talking about something crazy happening at the cult's hotel. From what I understand based on in-character explanations and what the keeper told me later, essentially Buffy and Castiel went to the cult's hotel, attacked some security guards with the justification that everyone there is a cultist anyway, and things escalated. So Xander drove over to the Colas Hotel, and in the new channel, the keeper described the scene. Basically, there were multiple dead bodies in security guards' uniforms in front of the Colas Hotel. Buffy and Castiel were in a standoff with a group led by the cult leader who owned the hotel, and there were also bystanders around watching the confrontation. The cult leader had a short evil speech about how we are all doomed, and they summoned some big demon before they retreated back to the hotel. The big demon went after the nearby innocent people, and this was presented to us as having tried to save the people and destroying the rampaging demon before going inside the hotel to deal with the cultists. You think this would be the kind of boss battle that Buffy and Castiel would want. However, for whatever reason, Buffy and Castiel ignored that giant demon attacking innocent people and simply ran into the cultist hotel to pursue the cult leader, leaving the innocent bystanders at the mercy of the demon. I had Xander run to his car, then crash it full speed into the big demon, which was enough to take it out and save the bystanders. I think the keeper just took pity on me and had it work out right. Understandable. I would probably do something a little bit similar. Wow. Hang on, I'm looking. Wow, the hero's going straight to the root of the issue as opposed to the important thing for any story ever. Which is knowing the enemy, not surprising at all. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Car went up in flames as soon as Xander got out, and Xander himself was also badly hurt in the crash. While that was going on, Buffy and Cassiel battled the cultists inside the hotel, but the cult leader got away. Bleeding, badly hurt, Xander then went inside the hotel after Buffy and Cassiel finished off the cultists, and I had Xander briefly tell them what he had learned in that occult bookstore. Due to the stone with the car, Xander had his arm in unstable territory, which basically meant that he was bleeding out and, if untreated, could eventually die. Castiel had an ability that allowed him to heal with his angelic powers, and he even used it on Buffy a few times. However, when I had Xander ask for healing in character, Castiel was suddenly adamant that it's too risky to use. And while that ability had some possible negative effects if he rolled poorly, at this point, Xander could really die soon if untreated. Honestly, yeah, like, these players are very, extremely self-centered. They only care about each other, and they don't want, they basically imply they don't like Xander both in character and out of character. So it's just like, they're in the mindset just like, oh, we, only the two of us want to play. We don't want this third person to interfere. Which is really scummy. The keeper just told Cassia that he won't have to roll for healing Xander, and it will just work as if he made the best possible roll. Cassio argued that achievements the game and removes the stakes, but then grudgingly conceded and just healed Xander. In character, Cassio berated Xander for getting injured and making him waste his powers on him, while Buffy mostly just seemed annoyed and said that she and Cassio should have never brought Xander along. I tried to play it off as simply another part of the underappreciated sidekick routine that was well established by this point, and just had Xander act sort of grumpy and mention that they wouldn't even know where to look and how to stop the ritual if it weren't for him. This resulted in Cassio pinning against the wall and screaming in his face that he shouldn't interfere with the Chosen One's destiny, and how he endangered them all, and that he's a liability. I thought about quitting right then and there, but the session was almost over, and I just wanted to see it through. So this is all one big session. So it's a little bit more understandable. Okay, so I tried to be diplomatic and just mention in general chat that there's a bit too much in-character conflict for my taste and left it at that. Cassio said that his character is simply protecting Buffy, and I didn't really have the energy to argue with him further. I just wanted to get through the game. The keeper told Cassio to tone it down a bit, but that didn't last long. Again, I think, I know I already mentioned just, this is all one big session, so I understand just, not wanting to check during the game and leaving it after. But I do definitely think the Keeper is definitely just kind of just, bending over to just, appeal to Buffy and Cassiel's taste, which is leading to a lot of clashing between playstyles and whatnot. And kind of just hurting the game overall, honestly. Alright, the big climax. We are almost there, everyone. Is it crazy that I just want to look at ring them and just be like, just get a room and kiss already, because I know you're just... Right, I'm also thinking, these two are clearly have feelings for each other. They clearly do. There's no, either they're super close friends, or they are just, actually just, in love with each other, and only want to do things with that other person. And that's why, they're just, so adamant about each other, and just, oh yeah, just being fully protective of each other. That I just want to look at the kitten. Oh wait, I already read that. I'm silly. But yeah, there's definitely something deeper, and I do think they have feelings for each other, which does not help with this. But anyway, the big climax, we're almost there. So our characters manage to find the secret entrance to the cult's underground hideout underneath the hotel. We manage to get inside, and actually, you know what? I'm gonna quickly get some more water. I'm not gonna BRB or anything. I'm just gonna quickly get some water because I am all out and I need more water for this. Holy shit! I'm also a bit hungry, so I'm gonna quickly make a sandwich. Um, be just really, really quick. Let's see here. I believe this is it. Alright, yeah. Oh my god, this thing is okay. Definitely not doing a good job with this being quick, so I apologize. Hold on. God. Just open, you stupid fucking. Hang on. Okay, there we go. I got open. There we go. There we go. God, just grab the damn ham, please. I'm starving. You know, honestly, I probably should have just like went ahead and just did a BRB screen anyway. Thank you guys so much for being patient with me. Seal this back up. Okay, there we go. I have my sandwich. Okay. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was definitely just getting really, really hungry.
Oh, a new tool. Welcome.
Amy, thank you for the tier 1 subscription. How are you doing? I'm okay. Hold on. There we go. You don't say. Yeah, sorry, I was just completely hungry. I was to get my laundry, so now it shouldn't. It should don't should be done in another hour. Gotcha, Azuri, gotcha. Luckily. I mean, you never know, Amy. I might get hungry again later, so don't count yourself out yet. Mm. Alright. Alright, so now I can continue the story. I apologize for the wait on that. I was just really, really hungry. I only had gummy worms, so that probably wasn't good for me. But I am good. I'm now good to continue. So our characters managed to find this secret entrance to the cult's underground hideout underneath the hotel. We managed to get inside, and after some wandering in the on some balcony overlooking a large room where the cultists are assembled, and the cult leader was talking to one specific cultist, who turned out to be Xander's missing girlfriend. Cool plot twist, right? Well, I thought so at first, but it caused Buffy and Cassie to go berserk on as soon as he mentioned it in character, accusing him of being a cultist too. Okay, yes, because that's how that works, clearly. And no matter the arguments of using character to point out this was insane, Buffy and Cassiel went back down. This was interrupted when the Keeper decided that our arguing alerted some cultists and their demonic servants to our position, and it seemed like this was going to be a tough battle. Uncharacteristically, instead of charging into the fight, Cassiel grabbed Buffy and wrote that he's going to teleport with them both outside the hotel entrance. Oh my god, dude. Jesus Christ. I'm doing something. What's my phone saying? Alright, you have fun with whatever it is you're doing, Stella. Thank you so much for dropping by. I appreciate you. Also has very nice emotes. But Jesus Christ, what the fuck? They take both, what, I mean, he could, okay, so, the Angel Wing special ability specifically allowed him to take one or two people when he teleports, meaning he could take both Buffy and Xander with him. However, he also mentioned that he specifically pushes Xander away before he teleports if Xander tries to grab onto him and be teleported too. I was confused about that, and when I asked him about that in General Chat, he claimed that if he did it, because he still thinks that Xander is actually one of the cultists, and Buffy backed up that this makes sense, because in her character's mind, this ambush was clearly a trap set by Xander. The Keeper decided to let Cassio try to do a roll for that. However, has to roll to mix a set for his so he and Buffy only end up teleporting about a few rooms away, still in the cultist underground hideout, and also they were both separated from each other. Anyway, since they deliberately left Xander behind, Xander was snatched by the following some Roans, dragged into the inner sanctum where the ritual was taking place, and shot to a stone altar. This was all happening in the same text channel since we were all still in the same general location. Buffy and Cassiel, you know what, you know what, that's the ship name, Buffy-L. That's just what I'm gonna call them from now on. Buffy-L. Buffy-L eventually reunited in a room with a balcony overlooking where the ritual was taking place, and Cinder was going to be sacrificed. The cult leader NPC had a speech at house Xander is about to be sacrificed, his soul will join the dozen winged souls there that were fueled to the summoning of the Archdemon and unleash hell on Earth. You can probably guess how it went. The Keeper made sure to specifically point out to Buffy and Cassiel that their characters can clearly see Xander shot down to the stone altar about to be sacrificed, so their characters, Xander is a secret cultist theory, got some serious holes in it, and they should save Xander. In the general chat, Cassio objected that his argument was basically, well, my character doesn't know that Xander isn't a cultist. For all he knows, Xander volunteered to be sacrificed because he's a fanatic. And Buffy agreed with that, because of course she did. So I made a short in-character post about Xander struggling against a restraint, obviously panicking and screaming for help, and asked but in general chat, if it's now obvious that Xander didn't volunteer for this, they tried to argue further about this, so I was legitimately angry and tired of their attitude. So as close as I could, I told them that they seemed to be just looking for an excuse to try and get my character killed. The Keeper backed me up and told them to drop this, so they really begrudgingly went to rescue Xander. Ultimately, Buffy and Cassiel charged into the before they could sacrifice Xander and bow the cult and his minions. Meanwhile, Xander tried to talk some sense into his cultist girlfriend, who was standing guard over him, and he rolled well enough that it broke the cult's brainwashing. It turned out Xander's girlfriend was brainwashed by the cult to become one of them, and she set him free. I don't like where this is going. While the bad guys were distracted by Buffy and Cassiel, Xander immediately ran inside the ritual, and he learned earlier that was supposed to destruct the ritual. Well, it worked. It destroyed the ritual, set all the souls free, stopped the summoning ritual, made all demons crumble to dust, and the cult lost all their powers and caused the underground cultist hideout to start collapsing. Castiel predictably wanted to go outside with Buffy, while Xander and his NPC girlfriend had to run on foot from the crumbling underground lair. The Keeper didn't even bother with rules for this, just said that we made it outside before it collapsed, so the mystery was solved and the world was saved. Okay, hang on, let me... What was this about again? Hold on. Okay, try to get the sacrifice. Okay, so I thought they succeeded in it. No, it was just try to do it. Okay. Also, thank you so much for just, like, having these. Like, it's so easy to keep track of it. I don't like this, where this... Well, it seems like it's, like, at least the game part of it is over, so let's see here. In general chat, Buffy and Cassiel both complained that this was a really anticlimactic way of ending things. They were apparently expecting a boss fight against the Archdemon the cultists were trying to summon. Whatever your opinion might be on this front, I get the sense that the Keeper just wanted the game to be over, and I don't blame her. I don't blame her either. While Buffy were complaining about the ending, I decided to finally message the Keeper and tell her that I'm going to bow out any future sessions because I don't want to play with the other two players, Cassiel in particular. The Keeper told me that she's not thrilled with them either and asked me to wait. She was going to talk to them in private messages about their behavior. Predictably, it didn't take long for the Keeper to mention that Buffy and Kat were kicked from both the game and the server, as their conversation with them did not go well. They also apparently claimed that I have been a significant problem to their enjoyment of the game. Not surprising. Supposedly due to ruining the game by focusing on the boring stuff, and also that my character is a joke and they just can't treat the game seriously with me around. So the horror story part ends here. Now that Buffy and Cassiel were gone, I decided to stick around and continue. The Keeper ended up looking for new players to replace Buffy and Cassiel, and the following sessions were much better. Looking back on it, I probably should have called them out on their attitudes sooner, or talked to the Keeper about it sooner. Okay, wait, hold on. Hi, Danny. I can't listen in, but I'm doing a very important charity munch stream for the shit that happened today. Would you be interested one night? You can respond in text if you want to. Wait, what happened today? Uh, hang on. I think we share the same server together, so feel free to DM me about it later. Yeah, because I'm not aware of what exactly happened. If you can message me about it later, then I feel free to do so. But I'm currently not in the know. So I'm gonna snooze the ad again because like I'm probably gonna have some things to say. Again, there's a very long story and I apologize. I'm probably gonna keep it low on the extra long stories for now. But anyway. But okay, so I mentioned this before, but basically Buffy and Castiel, very main character syndrome, also murder hobos, and they were just like kind of just like only wanted to really kill things in a game that seemed to be primarily investigation focused. And they didn't like Xander because essentially Xander only focused on what was important in the game, which was the investigation part. But they did not like that, so they got very, very upset and just did not like Xander as a result. Which is not okay. Like, you can't really get mad at someone for having a different playstyle than you. First of all, you just kind of have to accept, well, they have a different playstyle, or playstyles don't, like, match. Buffy be like, exactly! They're just like, okay, fight. I want to fight things. When the game does have combat, but it's not the main point of the game. Really, Xander was... I know, right? Like, this could have been an interesting story, and just, like, been like, oh, well, the supposed chosen one and the angel were the villains all along. If you really think about it. Yeah. Go work for real, Hans. Should be good for a while now. Yeah, but yeah, they were just, like, not fond of his playstyle, and they, like, you know, they considered him a joke when really, that's just, like, if I'm understanding the rule, that's just how his character is supposed to work, you know? He's supposed to play into the mundane, kind of just, like, accidental mishaps into saving the day. That's kind of character he played. And they were just like, no, that takes away from our serious RP time where we're the main characters and we just kill everyone. Gives God powers instead and leave the couple to perish. That would have been funny, but nah. That probably would have just, like, made Buffy and Castiel leave sooner, which honestly wouldn't be a bad thing per se. I come over here to relax and work. I will. Yosha. Hi, Chaotic Nick Goofball. Nice to see you here. As for kind of the DM side of things, like, you know, I do think the DM ended up handling it. She definitely saw the problem. She was just like, hi, just like, you're not welcome in future sessions. So I can't really complain about that too much because of
Because, like, I understand not wanting direct confrontation in that moment. It probably would have been ideal. It probably would have been ideal to just, like, say it's something sooner. Instead of just, like, having to go through was essentially kind of like a bad game. Because, as I said before, no D&D is better than bad D&D. And I think the Keeper probably should have cut the cord sooner. But I don't have any disrespect for how the Keeper went about doing this. I also think the Keeper tried to just, like, meet both worlds here, but just, like, ended up just, like, not being satisfying, because, at the end of the day, the couple was still not very satisfied, even when the Keeper was trying to bend to their whims and whatnot, which is good. All in all, like, and just, like, and this is very important, just, like, don't be like, oh, well, I only want to play with this person, anyone else is gonna ruin the vibe. Or just really just be careful when you have main character syndrome, because that can ruin the fun for a lot of other players on the table. Like, the point of these tabletop games, unless it's like maybe a solo game, the idea is that the party are the main characters, not just you. So, definitely something to keep in mind. They did try their best, but really it wasn't that ideal or good, because the couple just wanted to kill and dash and likely fuck and dash. Exactly. They only really cared about themselves and just killing things, because it definitely showed when, and this is kind of bizarre, because they, like, I guess the thought process was, oh, cult leaders bring way, we should run after them. But there's a big ass demon outside this hotel. You should just, like, want to just, like, kill them. With many character syndrome? Oh, what, just like, shrink them? And just, like, and just, like, make them just, like, insignificant? That'd be one way to go about it. But yeah, there's that story. Super long story. Probably gonna avoid the extra long ones for now. Also, we got an ad in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and run it, but I'm probably still gonna chat with you all. So, best way, or ideally, split up. One god takes the big demon, while the other takes care of the hotel. That could have been what they could have done, but this couple was very adamant of sticking together. So it was just like, yeah. Run what? Ads. I'm running ads, for tons. Like, really, there's just a lot they could have done. We're just die-hard butt buddies. Yeah, exactly. Like, they didn't want to interact with Xander because he was the goofy sidekick, and they're just like, no, this ruins our super serious game, when they're just like, also, like, they were acting all serious, but they were also murder hobos, and you can't exactly take that seriously either, because that's kind of over the top. Like, with like, for example, like, when they were attacking the thugs, it's just like, okay, just reprimand them and just turn them to the police. But
Buffy and Castiel were just like, no, they must die. So they just freaking killed them and just be like, what? They were criminals anyway, so why does it matter? It's having CrossFit called Helva Hotel. That is something that is in the works, yes. Mm-hmm. But just like overall, just like, yeah, just like definitely like if you're in a situation where you're just like oh these two are kind of ruining the game, just like do it civilly of course, but just kind of point out like, hey, can you guys not be like this and do this? And they're just like, nope. Then it's just like, all right, then I don't really want to play with you guys. God, that was crazy. That was so crazy. I do actually have a little something to show story-wise, because my sim was kind of working on the same. That was Final Fantasy 14 theme. Ooh, feel free to share. Feel free to share, Azri. Um, Actually, if you want, you can DM it to me, so that way, like, I can keep track of it. Yeah. Also, that Labyrinth game has fairies. Of course, it has fairies. You know what? Sure, it's gonna be short as it's more of a lack thereof as opposed to that's completely fine. FF14. Oh, you triggered Amy's neurons. It's mentioning FF14. I need to continue FF14. I've been meaning to, but I've just been so busy. There was a close-up shot of one fairy with a giantess in the background. I was like, Dooney, you made me your size. Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's see. How long have I been streaming for? Let's see. So that is a lot of drop frames. 2 hours. Okay. Maybe do a couple more. Maybe I'll see how I'm feeling. But yeah, I did not intend for that one story to be so long, and I apologize for that. I'm definitely just like just try just keep it reasonable. Keep it reasonable. Do you need to do FF14? I drink for. Yeah, I know. Me and Amy, you want to do something with me for that, so Um, and I definitely, I'll definitely get to it. I'll definitely get to it. I just need to better plan my schedule. 24-hour fairy stream. It's funny you say that, Dova, because I'm actually considering doing that sometime this year. Because my girlfriend is gonna be just like, she's gonna be there's gonna be a few times where she'll be away from home. One time is gonna be just like in August, because she's going to a friend's wedding, and I'll probably be staying home. So I'm considering during that weekend to do a 24-hour donathon during that time. I haven't worked out the details yet, but is something I'm planning on doing. In November, my girlfriend's also gonna be leaving for 2 weeks for Japan, which I sadly won't be able to afford because I am a broke bitch and I do not have that much. Yeah, I do have a girlfriend. Yeah, I do have a girlfriend and I live with her. But in November, my girlfriend's gonna be away in Japan for a couple weeks. So I can also take that opportunity to do a 24-hour stream or maybe a week-long donathon. So yeah, potential chance to have 2 24-hour streams. Definitely gonna see how I feel about it. Because like there's always like a chance that like I won't do it. It really, really depends. Kind of test the water, see how I do. Hope for the next Doonathon, I always. And I appreciate your support, Frost. And no matter how big or little the donation is, the fact that you're willing to donate to me means a lot to me. So do not worry. It still kind of just like means a lot to me. I'll do my best to catch what I can. If it's a 24-hour stream, you should have plenty of time to watch it, but like I don't know what your schedule is like, so. But yeah, those are definitely plans that I want to do this year. Also, to just mention, next week, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I am going back to DMing Fabula Ultima with Hoshi, Trixie, and another player. That'll be revealing soon if I haven't already talked about it. Roll a little more than I thought, but I sent you the gist. Okay. Oh yeah, this is definitely manageable. Okay, so this is from Asri. So the story isn't a lot, but to reiterate, my sister and a group of friends she would chat with were planning on doing a Final Fantasy XIV story, and my sister loves Final Fantasy XIV a lot. Lamau. Regardless, this is a situation where a friend asks her, hey, want to do a potential FF14 campaign? And of course she says, sure. Mind you, this person she chatted with does a lot of D&D sessions that are into a group with people she hasn't met, so you can kind of see where some of this is going. Now, my sister and myself do not really have a lot of things to do outside besides work or maybe stepping out for food or small stuff. So she has a lot of time. The problem is that the group chat, there was literally nothing done, and likely to this day there still isn't. She has still nothing there, or she has left already. The problems were that some of the people in the group, I believe, haven't really played the game, which is immediately red flag. Plus, her friend that was going to be hosting him while they were still doing numerous other things, like Sharon being around for around others for chill stuff or other campaigns. No one has made or done anything build-wise at all. No characters made yet, and no details on deadlines, plans, or anything. It was a huge lack of communication, and eventually my sister just kind of gave up despite doing a lot of research that she kind of just has nothing to do with anymore, but could just maybe make some fun war or whatnot. So to me, that sounds like... Now, I don't understand the full scope of this, but, like, players having not played D&D before, that's fine. As long as your DM is willing to help and just, like, kind of guide them to play. Or just, like, help them out with their character sheets and whatnot. But it sounded like the DM was just super, super busy and could not make time for it. So, unfortunately, this is kind of one of those cases where really the bad guy at the end of the day was scheduling conflicts. The big bad evil guy was scheduling. But yeah, like, that really just is kind of just like what it comes down to, is that the DM was super, super busy, so the group chat kind of just died with no one doing anything, which is a bummer, but what can you really do? Hopefully, maybe someday your sister will find another Final Fantasy XIV themed campaign that actually has a DM with enough time to guide everyone through how to make their character sheets. Though the biggest question mark was sometimes could immediately message her, but other times when she messaged them, almost no reply back. Hard to really say. Hard to really say. But yeah. I would say just like for that, just like, of course another thing, like, make sure to like communicate with everyone. Don't just ghost them. Because yeah, things are like guaranteed to not work out that way, especially. Oh, and I get why I do too. I forgot I enabled that. Hold on.
Alright, so it's been a while since I've done this. God damn it, Ann. You butthead. How are you doing, Ann? Are you doing well? Hang on, there we go. That should be better. The redeems, not gonna lie. People haven't been redeeming them as much, honestly. Which I'm not sure if it's because I have them to be too expensive, or it's like, they just don't have enough points. Or it could be just an overwhelming selection of choices. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, is there anything I can do to make the redeems better? And chores thought to drop by. Thank you, and I appreciate you. I forgot to add to give you something?
replacement on all my is necessary. Understand. What the fuck? Hold on. Hold on. Holy shit! Holy shittin'! You don't have to do that! Hmm. Hmm. I just haven't been, unless it's something like making Hydra stretch. That is fair, Frost. That is fair. Pamper the fairy time. No, paper. No pamper the fairy time. You butthead. No. Oh my gosh. I love you guys so much. And thank you for sticking by with me. It really means a lot, honestly. Pat the Dinny. Thank you, Delva. I appreciate you. For this, though. Headpats? Huh? Let's make it a finger pat. Okay. More head pats. More head pat. Okay, fine. Fine. Just be gentle. Just be gentle with the tiny. Or in this case, an even tinier fairy. Gosh. I also want to say, thank you guys so much for enjoying the comic previews I've been showing you all. Because I've been kind of surprised with the sketches I've been showing. A lot of you seem to really like it, which is kind of surprising. So, definitely gonna keep up with doing weekly updates. I'm trying to remember, did I do one this week? I'm pretty sure I did. And I'm also very interested in doing art streams of me working on the comic as well. Along with other things, because I definitely want to do art streams for Art Fight coming up in next month. Because I think that would be a lot of fun. Excuse me. That's the sandwich I had earlier. I'd love to see an art stream soon. Yeah, definitely. It was interesting because, RPG horror stories and art streams were definitely tied for a good bit. So there was always a chance, I could have done both an RPG horror stream and an art stream at the same time. But it seemed like... Let's get... Oh my god, Asri! What the fuck? I don't deserve the support. No. Me. Me. Nice one. God, what was I gonna say before that train of thought got interrupted? But oh yeah, like, there was always a chance I could have done art stream at the same time as the, RPG horror story stream. And I probably would have been making the art D&D themed. So yes, you deserve it, you silly. Baka. You're all my bakas. No, little, I did not say that. Do not be like that, you butt. Also, I'm probably gonna be, growing back here soon. Hopefully. So I can continue telling these stories, because surely you don't want me to read a horror story when my voice is high-pitched like this. I could do more. You are a goofball, but you're a lovable goofball. You say that, but you know, chat. Unfortunately, I do. What? No!
Say hello to the bard from a taverns far, far away. I've come to sing my song tonight. You're welcome to stay. Put aside your fears and worries just for tonight.
Alright, I am probably gonna go grow back in a moment.
We'll feast and
So,
drink together.
if you want me smaller, keep me tiny, feel free to shoot those, redeems. Junie is a Aw, thank you, Neko Goofball. Aw, thank you, little.
Many stories and battles I've seen.
Alright, going once, going twice, and so.
Me for long. 'Cause the road is long and the life is short. Let's sing along. Say hello to the bard from a taverns far, far away.
Okay.
Sing my song tonight. You're welcome
So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna read this next story.
just for tonight. We'll feast and drink together till the morning.
We're gonna read this next story. Yeah, you're a bit late there. It is fine to call me Neko Gupo like every. Alright, gotcha. I'll call you Neko. Oh god, are we gonna fight over my. Oh god, that was a massive growth spurt. Are we gonna fight over my size? But to be fair, like, let's see. Well, actually, I haven't been losing frames, but just like, I was losing a lot of frames earlier, so that might have been why. Yeah, I've been small long enough. That's why I'm now cramped in, in my dollhouse.
Choo choo, what a twist. I did not instigate it this time. Yeah, don't worry, Azra, you're a good boy. Okay, maybe not this one, because that one doesn't seem... Let's see. DM insecure characters because of consequences. Okay. Alright. DM insecure characters because consequences. Alright. A paid game, I believe, is about $15 a session. Okay, good start. DM said that actions have consequences. I thought, okay, fair. Yeah, I think that's fair too. Quest to transport a strangely coffin-shaped crate to someone deep in the forest with orders not to open it. Along the journey, we started to get hints that there was a live person in there. Concerned, players opens the box. The rest of the box, the giant suddenly leaps down the trees. DM says the player's character is crushed underfoot instantly. New character sheet. Wait, hold on. It says the... Oh, wow, that is punishing. One of our characters is arrested for something, and I don't remember being a matter of total dickery. DM says if you don't come up with a way to break him from the jail... Oh, in the next few minutes, he's going to die at dawn. We sit around trying to think of something. The character, indeed, dies at dawn. New character sheet. Our quest is to deliver a planeteer to someone. Worried my character tries to take the planeteer to the temple for advice, DM says my character feels a sense of dread considering killing herself as she approaches the temple. Okay, I think this is obviously its return. I don't want it yet. Another incident. I have a history suicide attempts as well. Oh jeez. Not knowing what else to do, we deliver the planeteer. DM shakes his head and say we just doomed the world. So we go to an NPC that asks for advice, and the DM tells us to explain to him what we did. We do. The NPC scolds us harshly. We go to another NPC that asks for advice, and the DM asks us to explain in detail what we did. I say, do we have to tell you again? He replies, you're not telling me, you're telling NPC. That makes sense, but I don't know how I feel about that. But embarrassed, we tell the story again. Then so we should reconsider telling a lot of people what happened. There was over the span of maybe 4 set tops. Mid-session, I packed up my stuff, said I'm not having fun, so I'm leaving, and walked out. Consequences in quotation marks equals I'm a fucking sadist. Yeah, this is definitely the type of DM that is very murder hopefully. And especially if you're paying money for this, I feel like this is like can get really aggravating. So, like, if this is like something that you want to run, fine, but you kind of have to be very clear with your players. Like, don't be like, oh, this game's gonna have consequences. Like, okay. In... Did D&D... Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not growing that much, so, it's actually... Oh, whoop. Hold on, one moment. Here we go. I don't think... Do I have my new chat box here? I don't remember. Can someone type something here? I'll do it. I do not. Okay, hold on. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's all jank. Hold on. Let me reset the transform. No. Oh, wait. Okay, I think I see the issue. Hold on. One moment, some, jank. Let's see, where do I have the chat box? Here we go. Copy, then city. We're just gonna paste it here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, hold on again. Gotta grab this. Copy that. Put it here. Then paste it here. There we go. There we go. Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. Bigger fairy. Big. Yeah, that's a DM you don't want. Wonderland? Oh, Wonder. I've not had that outfit in a bit. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah, I've not worn this outfit in a very long time. I'm getting some deja vu with this view. Oh yeah. Oh really? Oh really, Asri? Do tell me. Do tell me just like what deja vu you are getting from down there? Hmm. But yeah, just like as I was saying before. Yes, Big Dooney. As I was saying before, actions definitely have consequences, no doubt about that. But you need to make it clear to like, okay, this is the type of game where your character can easily die. You can easily die, so switch out your characters often. That's not a game I'm personally into, but at least you make it clear that's what's going on. So that is I know, right? I really love this Wonderland outfit. I don't really get to use it a whole lot. I haven't really played a lot because this is usually reserved for like horror games and whatnot. But just like I don't really get to use this outfit a whole lot, but like I do really enjoy it. Let's see, what else can I really say about this? Oh yeah, just like I get like, you know, for the sake of immersion, like, hey, just like explain to the NPC, hey, this is what happened, whatnot. Well, in like one, having to repeatedly explain it over and over again can be a bit annoying. So at the very least, giving a brief, like, okay, this is what happened, would do. But the fact that we're just like, also the fact that it like escalated into, oh, you doomed the entire world because this one little action, like that's not very appealing. I'm sorry. But I think Madness Return. There's a funny story with that, Azri. This outfit was originally made based off one of the outfits in Alice Madness Returns. And the idea was to stream that game, debuting with this outfit. However, the problem with the... Wow, a lot of people have not seen this outfit before. The problem with the Steam port of Madness Returns. It doesn't really work anymore. Like, at all. Because I tried to stream it and it just kept like crashing, not working. The layout was all weird. It was not optimized for modern day computers. So, like, that kind of blew my plans out of the water. I would definitely love to stream it someday, but it's gonna have to be through other means and not through Steam. Cause yeah, I don't think they're ever gonna update it, and we're never gonna get like a modern day official port because EA do be a EA. On the Steam Deck, it runs fine. Really? Huh. That's weird. I don't know why it would work on the Steam Deck, but I mean, that is definitely something I could try, but that does require me just to get a Steam Deck at some point, which I don't know if that'll be in the cards anytime soon. But yeah, this was originally planned for Madness Returns, but things did not work out. I even had a fun Alice in Wonderland kind of roleplay session. Uh, and it's been a long time since I've done those. And I definitely would love to go back to doing them at some point. I just have not had the chance to. But just like with Madness Returns, it just did not work. And I kind of just played like the first Resident Evil, the remake of Resident Evil 1 instead. Yeah, I do love this outfit a lot. It is really, really cute. Definitely want to show it off more. I also need to get another outfit soon because it's been a while since I've gotten another outfit. It's just, money's kind of tight, especially at the moment with my current plan. So it's kind of hard to make plans with that in mind at the moment. But yeah, getting back this. Oh yeah, definitely. I know Hoshi, to give an example, I know Hoshi has expressed she wanted to do something where death is instant and and whatnot, and just have there just be a lot of consequences. I do think Hoshi does something better where she's at least very clear that yes, there will be consequences. Yes, your character will probably die because there will be instances where your character will instantly die. But at least she makes it clear. It's something I'm willing to give it a shot. I do have my concerns, but I am willing to give it a shot. Plus, I have a character concept that might mitigate the potential frustration just a little bit. Just a little bit. So, hi, Queen Lacey. Nice to see you. And the fact, oh yeah, the fact that it's paid. I do not want to pay for a game just to constantly die. That part definitely is not appealing to me. All right, later, Amy. Help me do what do you need help with, Lacey? Meat grinder campaigns with things like this should be talked way in advance. Definitely agree. Definitely agree. I'm gaining tea. Oh, what are you gaining teas for, Lacey? Do tell me more, and I promise I totally won't abuse this information. You know what? I don't want to say. Come on, Lacey. Come on. Be a good girl. Come on, the whole chat's waiting for you to say it. Come on. If you don't actually want to say it, that's fine. That's fine. I was just teasing you about you getting teased. If you don't, there's a fairy dust as an option. Alright, okay, so this is GM's girlfriend ruins game before it starts. Relatively lighthearted horror story here, but still funny in hindsight. Okay, so this is a lighthearted story. Okay, good to know, good to know. The setup for this story is pretty basic. I respond to an LFG post looking for Blades in the Dark players, and I meet with the GM and his girlfriend, who felt the need to sit in on the initial interview. Not that big of a deal generally, but it did strike me as odd. Excuse me. Whatever, they both seemed cool, and I pitched my character and talked about safety tools, lines of fails. Specifically, my character was using the slide playbook. Think a slinky spy character who's good at talking to people. Their moves for getting bonuses to roll against targets that you have an intimate relationship with. And was an exotic dancer and a sex worker from a demonic homeland who used the dances that were used to pacify demons in his homeland as a way to entertain sleazy nobles. I want to play with the things that come modifying and sexual important cultural arts and asking the question whether his profession and skills were empowering or degrading. Fun stuff. Tends to have been a grimy crime infesting setting like Dustful, the main of Blades in the Dark. However, the sexual themes of the character and inclusion of sex work as the theme can be touchy for some people, so it's careful to discuss this up front. This becomes important later. So I hop in the Discord for a pre-session 0 to brainstorm. I'm getting teased with flirting by Shino. Ah, I see. Oh man, it's just never work on me. That's fair. That's fair. So, but it's just like playful teasing on Shino's part. I'm not gonna look, you're fine. Like, I don't even really know what presses your buttons, Lacey. So like, I'm not gonna like really go into the nitty-gritty of just like teasing you, since like I don't know what gets you going. But if I do find out, you know damn well I will abuse it. so be careful. Can confirm. Because I do generally like to tease my friends or just people in general, because it does make me have a sense of happiness that I am able to do that. So I tend to have fun teasing my friends with what are they into. What is happening to me? You said you were getting teased, so we're planning on taking advantage of that. Whenever we get the chance. And so I hop into the Discord for a pre-session 0 to brainstorm, and the GM and his girlfriend spend the entire time talking with an old friend of theirs, also a player in the game, about Minecraft server drama. At this point, I'm mildly annoyed, but since session 0 was scheduled for later that week, I shrugged it off and prepped for that. During session 0, I said I was on a time since I had a doctor's appointment. I was sure we could get things done in a few hours. So for the first 45 minutes to an hour of session 0, GM's girlfriend, and GM's other friend talk about friend group drama. At some point during this conversation, I say that I have my appointment coming up. So could we please talk about character concepts and what crew playbook everyone was interested in? The other players agree, and everyone has a character concept prep. Everyone except GM's girlfriend, who had the vague idea of playing a mad scientist who reanimates corpses. That's it, okay? So this can be fleshed out through brainstorming. The group seems to be into the idea of playing assassins, so we brainstormed a group dynamic and threw some bones at GM's girlfriend about how her character could use poisons and contraptions to pull off some assassinations. The addition is necessary because just reanimating the dead is a whole process in Blades in the Dark, and her character would need to be able to contribute to the group on missions. GM's girlfriend is really quiet throughout this process, and GM is contributing here and there. Then GM's girlfriend suddenly leaves the call, and GM leaves to go talk to his girlfriend while the rest of us just talk about character dynamics. 30 minutes later, our happy couple returns, and GM says that not everyone in the group wanted to play as a set, and we should just try to be mindful of what everyone wants. Everyone awkwardly moves on to be thieves or similar instead, but instead of this diversion, we don't. But because of this diversion, we don't finish up Sister Shiro and had to continue at a later date. The next day, let's see, let me take a look. The next day, right before another game I was GMing, I received a message and server from GM's girlfriend about how she doesn't want any flirting between PCs and NPCs because, and I quote, "That's my boyfriend." At this point, contemplating a lobotomy, I asked, so basically I need to completely scrap my character concept. She responded with, "I guess so, yeah." I shrugged and dropped the campaign immediately, saying that I wasn't interested in playing because of the poor communication, and left the server. Understandable. Very, very possessive bitch. Then GM's girlfriend proceeds to slide in my DMs, sending me 8 to 10 messages as I begin GMing for my friends, asking me why I was leaving and to answer her. I tell her that I'm in a game at the moment and will respond later, and she proceeds to message me repeatedly throughout my session. Eventually, I message back saying that I did not like how my work on a character was basically thrown away on a boundary that I explicitly asked about multiple times and got free left on. That was poor communication at best. I also said I didn't like the GM's girlfriend behavior of leaving when she didn't like what everyone was going with for session 0 despite her refusal to communicate, and then having her boyfriend step in for her after she threw a tantrum. She shot back at me, accusing me of commandeering the game because I asked if we could move on from the damn Minecraft server drama and actually play, and said it wasn't fair to expect her to be comfortable speaking in front of everyone, and that she didn't know she'd have to had to have a concept prepared. At this point, I ended the conversation by saying that if she and her boyfriend couldn't act like adults and communicate with everyone honestly, then they shouldn't bother playing RPGs. Because throwing tangents and leaving instead of asking to change things is an acceptable law. Neither was randomly changing boundaries and forcing people to scrap concept. I told her to not message me again, and that was that. Later, I received a message from another player who also dropped the game asking me what happened, which was kind of funny. I feel like I dodged a bullet on this one, and in hindsight, it's kind of funny. Oh, an important addition, I was the youngest person involved in the story at age 22. If my memory serves me correctly, the GM and his girlfriend were in their mid-20s. Yeah, miss me with that shit. Okay, so yeah, I mean, communication's very, very important. if you are feeling uncomfortable about something, make it very clear. Do not be like, oh, that's okay. And then later go back and say, actually, no, this isn't okay. I don't want any flirting because you're flirting with my boyfriend. Yeah, that's not okay. Like, if that was gonna be an issue, fine. But just make that clear in the pre-session 0. Don't be like, I get that speaking up is very, very nerve-wracking. And I completely understand that. And I think that's kind of like the problem that she and the boyfriend had, is that they couldn't communicate because I'm gonna guess they were just kind of shy and whatnot. But it's very important to communicate, especially in D&D or any tabletop game, because it kind of leads to stuff like this. I do think the OP saying that, like, if you guys can't like communicate and whatnot, you shouldn't play any TRPGs is a little harsh. Is a little harsh in my opinion, because like I can understand the like, oh well, it's kind of complicated situation, because like I do ultimately think OP is right. Like, don't throw temper tantrums. Don't get all upset and pissy with people and whatnot. Like that I can agree with, but just like, communication. I do, like, you're definitely gonna get a shy, kind of shy player and whatnot. And, communication might be a lot more difficult for them. I don't know. I think just, like, at the very least, just maybe put in somewhere just like, hey, this is gonna require a lot of communication. Please just be honest with me. I understand you're shy, but just, like, for the sake of the game, please, like, make it very clear what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with, and whatnot. And whatnot. But I do think ultimately the OP did dodge a bullet, especially since, like, they were so just like, when they were just like busy talking about drama, so kind of drama attached people, or drama magnet people rather. Let's see. Shy and whatnot is one thing, especially when it comes to game, but it's still important to set the bar in the back. Exactly, I agree with that, Azri. I definitely agree with that. Okay, so like I said before, we are gonna be skipping anything with an SA warning for the sake of just like people's comfortability. We probably won't go into any stories that involves SA since I'm already going on a bit long, 3 hours. Dungeon Master murders a player. In game, right? Okay, hold on. Let's take a look at this. So thanks for the hydrate. Oh, I see. Okay. I'll keep this pretty simple and short. It happened to me, but I knew of all of the involved people and played with them in multiple games. First of all, the Dungeon Master was the owner of the only remaining local game store still open after COVID. His mother owns numerous local businesses and gave him the game shop to give him something to do with his time. It had really creepy vibes, was clearly the only place in town since he didn't believe in COVID. That's a major red flag. That is extremely red flag. In early 2021, Dungeon Master was at a bar, got into an argument with one of the players in the game we all played in. The reasons for the argument were related to a dice roll from the previous session. The player was well known as being abrasive and a pain he has to deal with. As was pointed out by a commentator, the player did physically assault the DM inside the bar alongside a friend. Dungeon Master followed the player outside the bar and shoved him after escalating, and the victim shoved him, saying he was in fear for his life. Dungeon Master spent 60 days in jail for gun concealment violation charges and never spent a day in prison for actually killing a guy by shooting him in the back. His shop was shut down while he was in jail, and now the nearest local game store is about 50 miles away. In case you doubt that these events occurred in Florida. Not to laugh at the murder, just to make that clear, but it taking place in Florida, it does make sense. Gun concealment violation charges, corrected time spent, which I got wrong. So, I shouldn't have to say this, but don't kill people over a game of make-believe. Just do not do that. There isn't really a whole lot I can say about this. There isn't really a whole lot I can really say about this. Just, it's pretty straightforward. Don't kill people over a disagreement. So I'm going to run an ad for 3 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm going to check how all of you are doing. Also, I'm going to probably skip the extra long one. Maybe something to say. I don't know. Would you guys like me to do more of these? Because I'm having fun reading these, honestly. It's been running. Oh, that's good. Man, having an AC is very, very, very wanted, honestly. Yeah, it's fun. Real nice. This is where I've been talkative, been outfit shopping for my model while lesson. All good. All good. It's all good. Like, I don't mind if people just, like, don't talk. Just, you know, maybe chip in every once in a while. But just, like, if you can't do that, then at least I appreciate someone just, like, dropping by and listening. Because that definitely just, like, kind of means a lot. Let's see. I'll have to think about just like when I can do these again, because I wouldn't mind making these a regular occurrence. maybe like monthly at the very least. Maybe I could even get special guests come over and just like read them with me. I would not be against that, honestly. The real banger in this case, Bombshell of a story, was the frickin' Buff Teal story. Yeah. I'll probably just like do one extra long story per stream. Per like RPG horror stream. Since those are just kind of the real meat and potatoes. That would be funny and a good time, yeah. Like, I could definitely ask, like, Trixie if she's interested, or Hoshi. If, like, I don't know, if we can't do Fabula Ultima or something along those lines. Alright, it seems the ads are done, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue reading. I don't know how much longer I'll go on for, but at least I'm gonna do a couple more stories, so. Alright, they have a DER, but I'm gonna just, like, avoid that for now. This is kind of meh horror story, sorry, not sorry. Anyway, I was trudging through the wastes of LFG. Let's see, what is LFG? Oh, it's basically a place to, like, they host for, to play, to get games together. Okay, I see. And other TTRPG forums looking for a new game of D&D. This is 2 years ago. After a few days of searching, I came across a West March style server, which I will call Dust of Montanay, fake name obviously, ran by an internet stringer that seemed very cool, but at first, I made a character talk to the DM, blah blah blah, usual onboarding stuff, etc. Everything was fine, no red flags yet, but later came my first 2 and last sessions. Here's what happened during those sessions. I greeted everyone as I got on the call. No one replied, even though nobody was visibly muted. Weird, but okay. Once the DM was ready, he started telling about magic items and inventories. I, confused, asked a question about it. One of the players promptly responded saying they were talking about the party's cache of items, and they weren't sharing because I'm new. Thanks for including me, I guess. Any questions about the VTT or house rules were met with hostility by the DM or other players. I asked if they used flanking rules, and apparently that really ticked them off because everyone groaned in response. I was the only one being treated like this. There was another player who was also into session 1, feeling unwelcome after session 1. I messaged inquiring about a question when I asked if I could provide some input about the session. They said yes, as long as they could respond to whatever my input was. Sure, that's fine, so I asked the question. Do you have any experience playing with new players? And described my experience instead of asking any follow-up questions. The DM then proceeded to tell me about his server analytics, saying that he had gotten tons of new players in the months past. From there, I tried to provide further context, but they just ignored me. Overall, a very strange interaction. I'm gonna drink some water. Alright, Azri. Let's see, you've been taking... I have been, Will. Do not worry. Okay. During session 2, I continued to be friendly, ask questions, and tried to break away any awkward silence. I was told to shut up, basically. Still not knowing how to use the VTT boundary, I tried to get some clarification. I was met with the DM telling me that something was wrong with me, because I didn't understand the report given direction. When I was role-playing with the group, I said something that I thought sounded weird. Something stupid like moist, a word everyone hates. I tried to rephrase whatever I said differently, but then started stammering. If you know, you know. So then, instead of laughing off like a normal person, the DM cut me off and continued the scene without me. Again, excluding me from any sort of interaction. After being put down almost the entire time I was on the call, I left during the 3-minute break, not saying a word to anyone, left the server and walked off of the VTT, where I then received an angry message from DM saying that I was disrespectful and a bad player, then immediately blocked me so I couldn't respond. That's it. That's the story. Fuck those people. Don't be like them. TLDR, online DM treats new player badly because of received slight. DM, when asked about own experience, provides rebuttal and informs server and analytics. I mean, yeah, obviously, like, it seemed like the entire table was just so against, like, new players. Like, it makes me wonder why they would be welcome there. Or just, like, why it would be open to just, like, to new players in the first place if they're gonna be so hostile. I'm a little bit suspicious about the end there with the whole moist thing. Like, if you know, you know. Because of it, like, you know, nothing against OP. I'm sure OP didn't do anything, might have not done anything wrong, maybe. But, like, I wonder if there's a little bit more to the story than we're being let on. But it's also possible that, yes, like, you know, the experienced players and the DM treated new players horribly, and as a result, yeah, like, and the player ended up leaving, and the DM was just like, "Hey, how dare you fucking leave?" And it's just like, well, I didn't feel welcome. If I don't feel welcome, I should not be here. That tends to be how it works. Not a whole lot to the story, but just like, it's just... Okay. Okay, so this next story is something I want to ask. So, the title is Problem Player Sneaks Child Roleplay Fetish in Game. I want to ask you, how do you guys feel about me reading this? Because no matter what, I feel like I'm going to add in my own 2 cents, no matter if I read this or not. But, like, would you guys be comfortable with me reading this, or is this something that's just like, kind of a no for you? Also, hi, Danny! How you doing? I'm currently reading RPG horror games, RPG horror stories, and we're getting to a potentially problematic story that is labeled Problem Player Sneaks Child Roleplay Fetish in Game. I'm fine with you reading it. Yes, I think it's fine. Yeah, I just want to make sure I don't make anyone uncomfortable and whatnot. But if we're all in consensus that's fine, then let's take a look at it. Okay, fairly long one too. Okay, this will probably be our last story, and then I'll probably call it a night. Okay, so problem player sneaks child roleplay fetish into game. TLDR at the bottom. This begins in sometime in 2020. We were all brand new to D&D and started a homebrew game together. We were a paladin, me, a barbarian, another different paladin, a rogue, a player I can't recall the class of, and at first, a druid. Okay, this is kind of a little confusing the way you're putting this. Our subject of the story called him Alex. Their first character was a druid. We all loved them. They had a childlike personality, naivete to them that fit. They were an awakened animal that was bipedal. That character retired partway through the campaign by going to magic school. Their next character is where the major issues began. Okay? The child elf ranger. About 16 years old, but a baby in an elf time span. This player had a slew of problematic behaviors. Main character syndrome, wanting a ridiculous amount of items they found on the internet and create a collage list to ask the DM to give them. Trying to befriend and talk to clear villains during active combat. Cheating dice rolls. Outside a game, they would leave trash behind at other hosts' homes. Even though we always clean up at their place, trash talking the other hosts home for having dishes in the sink. A lot, I know, but these were here, and these things over the course of years that we did talk to them about, and they mostly fixed their behaviors accordingly. There's gonna be a major bombshell, yeah. And, like, if people are uncomfortable, feel free to mute the video. Let's see. Alright, just making some mac and cheese very quickly, but also chick has been mad checking a few times as of late. It might also be because of my end, because, like, I was also having issues earlier. The problems that were character-specific and specific include the bad guy, friendship quests, reacting to switchman, unbelievable immersion, breaking away, inconsistency in character personality. Allow me to explain. They play their character as childhood naive most of the time, same as the first character, but whenever it would suit them or allow them to pull some of the spotlight onto some, primarily when dealing with children NPCs, they were suddenly mature and had knowledge that would help out the kid, and acted like an adult figure the kid could rely upon. Once this was done by, I'm not joking, bringing in knowledge administration and telling other PCs to buy pads for the girl, even though that had absolutely nothing to do with what was going on. The girl was just adopted by the group after some of the players killed her alcoholic and neglectful father. The huge red flag that waved in front of us while covered in blazing red flames was when we were in a prison after this player helped us get captured. They were not the sole reason. Another player didn't tell us they had a country hunting them down and were in the area. While in the prison, we eventually came up with an escape plan. This player decided to help out and kick things off. They would make a distraction. We were stunned when they described their underage character begin to strip on a table for all to see. The DM, absolutely surprised, described how she began stripping that before she could take anything off. The guards, shocked and horrified, stopped her and keep her from continuing. We escaped the prison, but this was the moment we questioned Alex's intentions. Later, they got the character killed by running ahead in Dungeon 2 Worldwide by elementals. A stipulation was set in place for all their future characters. No underage characters. We still played with them because we thought this incident may have been brought on by childhood trauma they mentioned in the past. We were all high school friends before starting D&D. So we just told them never again, and that wasn't okay. Alex makes another character that is 18. Begrudgingly, but still plays them the same. Something important to know, our DM, the amazing overachiever, created unique abilities for each PC that we could get at certain key levels. He tried to get Alex to talk with him for ideas and collaborate unique skills. They kept brushing him off. He came up with a wonderful idea to incorporate the character's prosthetic in a Sekiro Shinobi prosthetic way. It could be switched out with different parts for different purposes. The session after the DM created this is the character would intentionally kill off their character after they were told about getting one of those items from their college. They were told no about getting one of those items from their college list. They literally fed themselves to giant 20-foot tall wolves in a giant forest, ignoring all the DM's warnings. This was like 5 minutes of back and forth warnings and roleplay of the player trying to play with the aggressive wolves until crunch. The DM lost it. Hours of work down the drain because of a no, you can't have that. Another rule specific for Alex alone was made. If you purposely kill off your character again, whether through many poor decisions or ignore a warning, that's it. They would have no more character. You know, after them like feeding themselves to a giant 20-foot wolf, I would probably say that would be all done in there, because it seems that you're a very temperamental little shit. But let's continue the story. They listened. The next character was some random druid the group had no connection to and picked up the side of the road. We somehow needed to add the player this deep in the campaign during an intense arc. The game has gone on hiatus for over a year now, as me and the DM had a baby. Aw. And the DM is currently coming up with the few final sessions. These sessions will save or destroy the world depending on the player's success against a god-killing entity. The event that revealed Alex's actions were likely not the result of trauma, but fetish. At one night when we were at their house for a game, they revealed the disturbing truth. DM and I were pregnant, and at the time while chilling, one of us saw a container full of pacifiers. They asked about it, and Alex said without hesitation that they were illegal. Someone else asked what that was, and they explained they enjoy pretending to be a child while with their partner. The horror and discomfort made the room stifling. We all hurried to leave after that. We have played a session or two since then. I've voiced my grievances about Alex very vocally after that, since so much time has passed, along with the character being irrelevant with having no syncs and only 2 players. Sometimes 3 remain. We just decide not to invite them back when the game starts up again. This was our first real campaign, and has given one hell of a horror story. TLDR, problem player has many issues, makes her child elf character strip in a prison as a distraction, roleplays their multiple characters as childlike, if not just an actual child, kills multiple of their characters off when not getting their way, and finally reveals at the end that they enjoy role playing with their partner as a child. There's a lot to unpack here. Okay. So I want to make this kind of clear because I feel like this could be a little controversial. Okay, how do I go about this? Because I have to do this in a very careful way. Okay, so I don't think it's necessarily bad that you have this kink as long as it stays in the realm of fantasy and whatnot. But if you're playing in a game with other people, you kind of have to be respectful about people's boundaries. So bring your fetish into a game with people like you don't know or they don't know that side of you. You probably should not do. Because that can lead to very awkward situations like this when they do learn and suddenly they're just like, oh, okay, we want nothing to do with you anymore. Especially when it's kind of problematic and not everyone's gonna be comfortable with that. So just kind of just like if you're gonna just like enforce your fetish into tabletop games, like ask like if it's okay and if like it might be a little difficult in this case because people might instantly jump down your throat, but just kind of like get a feel. Then maybe just like if you get closer with your party, ask them like, hey, would this be okay at some point? And if if they're not okay with it, then just don't do it. Just look for another tabletop group because there's gonna be a tabletop group to just like that you can find that could fulfill this fantasy of yours if you really have to. If you really have to. So personally speaking, like me personally, I don't mind if this is the type of character you want to play, but I do definitely think there's a time and a place for it. Like if like I definitely wouldn't like stream it on Twitch because that could be an issue, and just like also just like and also just like make sure just like everyone is comfortable with it. So I personally don't mind, but you also have to factor in if just like if other people will be comfortable with it. Like I guess for example, like with me, I like to play tiny characters. Not surprising. Tiny are sometimes just giant characters. Alright, back when I can assume I missed the huge... Okay, so I'll give you the TLDR. I'll give you the TLDR, Azri. At the bottom of it. Okay, so TLDR, problem player has many issues making their child elf character strip into prison as a distraction. Roleplays multiple characters as childlike, if not just an actual child. Kills multiple of their characters off when not getting their way, which I will talk about in a bit, and finally reveals at the end that they enjoy role-playing with their partner as a child. Which, I know, very, very controversial. But I do stand by, I think just like, nothing inherently wrong with it as long as it stays in the realm of fiction. And, play with people you trust and would actually be comfortable with that thing. Don't force your kink onto other people. And I was kind of explaining that, like, you know, kind of like an example, like, I do enjoy playing, like, tiny characters, or sometimes even a giant character, but, like, that is usually if, like, I get to know the group, or just, like, kind of just, like, do it in a way that just, like, isn't really kinky. It's kind of hard to explain, but just, like, actually, I'll do one example. Like, you know, I play tiny character in Hoshi's campaign, Basil. And, you know, she's like inches tall and whatnot. And I don't really, I mean, really, if anything, I think more so Hoshi kind of ends up with me being in kind of sexual scenarios, so. And, you know, of course, everyone's so comfortable with me being tiny and whatnot. But, like, I also just, like, you know, do what I can to just drive the plot forward. And I don't really focus on the fact. It's more so just, like, lighthearted fun, and that's just kind of what I look for in a game anyway. Is more on the adventure aspect, and more so just, like, much less the kink aspect of it. I mean, same thing kind of goes for me with what I like, but also just with what I'm into. Exactly. Like, I think it's okay if the kink is incorporated into the game as long as it has everyone's consent and it's comfortable with everyone. With that said, because this isn't the only thing that's kind of a problem here. They also, like, this person also kind of, like, basically killed off multiple characters of theirs because when they don't get what they want, which I understand they like to act like a child, but just, like, no, just be aware of the room, like, read the room, like, don't kill off your character because you get told no, you can't have this thing. Because, like, I understand you're a little, but there's gotta be times where you have to act like an adult and suck it up. But yeah, that part is definitely, like, the worst aspect, I think, of this, is, like, kind of throwing a temper tantrum when they get told no and killing off their characters. To the point where the DM has to step in and say, hey, don't kill off your characters anymore. That's definitely the part where I think is definitely kind of the worst, in my opinion. I feel like they kept them in a group for way longer than they should have. Definitely, I can agree with you there, because it's very, very clear the rest of the group had problems with them. And I noticed they use they, them pronouns, so I don't know if it's because they are non-binary, or because, they're trying to leave the gender vague. Because, yeah, like, I don't think, yeah, like, if they had problems with them, they could have been like, hey, this isn't gonna work, sorry, we don't feel comfortable, and whatnot. For something, and there's moments when that time isn't the right. Exactly, Asri. Exactly. Like, there's a time and a place for everything. Don't force your fetishes on people. So, yeah, and I did see this story while scrolling through, just like, I do actually have, because I do actually just have opinions on the topic in general, which is why I'm kind of like talking very passionately about this because this does involve kink and whatnot, and I wanted to throw in my own 2 cents because it's like okay, this is what you should do and this is what you shouldn't do. That is my own personal opinion on that. We're very, very is very, very, very problematic. Yeah. So just yeah. At the end of the day, is what is really exactly like use common sense. Like don't like like what like would this be something my group would be comfortable with? Ask yourself that, and the answer is no. Then don't do it. Okay, so like I know I said that like that was gonna be the last story, but let's actually take a look at these real quick. Oh, I forget which was which, but it was either an RPG glory story or an RPG honor story. And these are more kind of light-hearted stories, if I recall correctly. So let's see, what is this one? It's now Love Swing tells of great deeds in those times. In those times that everything goes in plan, either in character or out of character. Let's see, what is an honor story? Honor stories that take the game master and players that go above and beyond the norm and deserve to have their name sung of in the halls of red themselves. Okay, so I think these are more or less kind of the same thing. I think we'll probably just do the glory stories. I like this. Yeah, like we can definitely just like end this on a good note. Let's see here. Yeah, to throw a bit of my 2 cents as well. I agree that you should never force your fetishes onto others, but also keep in mind what it is too, because sometimes depending on what it is at this day and age could put you on a watch. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, because unfortunately, you are gonna have those people that just don't understand. And like, I do think that was kind of the case there. Cause I am aware what a little is. I've interacted with a few littles. And you know, they're fine folk. They're fine folk. Like, so I don't really have a problem with them personally. But I understand why it could be a bit unnerving for other people. I don't know, like, it's entirely another discussion at, like, in of its own, honestly, so. Alright, I'm gonna take a drink of this water. We're gonna read this story, and that'll be the end of it. But yeah, I'm glad you guys were comfortable with me reading that story at the very least. And with some of the content that goes well for any kink. Exactly, I agree with that. Like, just because you have a problematic kink doesn't mean you're a bad person as long as you keep it in the realm of fantasy. That will always be my thing with that. If, like, as long, if it doesn't touch reality, then it's fine. Okay. Alright, so this one's a short one, so I'll probably read a longer one after this. Okay. Had an amazing session a ways back where I was DMing, and as part of a Gauntlet of Trials dungeon, I made the final test, the Trial of Courage, involving a deck of many things, of course. And not only did our campaign not get destroyed, but no joke, but no joke, they drew cards that were fitting for their characters. For example, our Oath the Watcher's Paladin who hates devils drew the Flames card. Our Thief Rogue drew the Gem, and our Cookie Having Druid drew the Sun and got some Boots of Leviathan. Boots he later used to float in the air, cast a spell on the ceiling, and crush the dungeon's final boss with falling rocks. That's amazing. I'm glad that worked out for them. I would have liked more context of what the gloves do, or what the cards do, but yeah. How Newbie's sister's character beat the BBG. Okay, this one I definitely want to read. Okay, longer one. Yeah, this will definitely be our last one then. Back when this happened, my older friends and I got together to do a small campaign, as we didn't have time for one of the longer ones due to work. My sister wanted to join, but was nervous that she had never played D&D before, but we were all more than happy to help her understand the rules and such. Here's the cast. DM. As the DM. Me, Centaur fighter named... I'm gonna just call you Siku. Neb. Dark Elf. Rogue named... Oh god. Nithias? Akaria. Elf druid named Ravana. Metal. Changeling sorcerer named Veer. And lastly, my sister plays a Haragon barbarian named Jesse. I'm unsure if this campaign was something DM made up on his own or if it's an official mini-campaign, but the mission was like this. The group was hired to rob the boss of a high-end casino. I cannot remember the name of the place, but it was devil-themed, and pretty much all the workers were tieflings. We came to the casino where Veer had already infiltrated as his staff, thanks to his ability to shift his appearance. He was the one who gave us the rundown of the entire place. Did have to pull Jesse away as he was about to destroy the bar, as he got provoked or something. We came up with a plan that Nithias would snatch one of the richer people's clothing and pretend to be wounded by Siku. Overall, make a distraction in the bathing area that would get the guards to check it out and watch Veer and Ravana sneak into the boss's area. Simple plan, but didn't pan out as we planned. See, Nev's character is masked. No one in the group aside from my character has seen his face, and is the entire story as to why Nithya sticks around her. She kicked him in the face during their first meeting, leaving a horseshoe scar on his face. As he's paranoid, she will reveal it to someone, as his evil and crazy family is pursuing him. Siku couldn't care less about who he was. Can you see the issue? Nithias refused to take his mask off, as we all did laugh at this, as none of us, not even Nev, realized this before it came to the part in need to strip, so to mingle in the bath. So I made Siku leave her spot inside the bath, see the hold up, and be the impatient nagcat she was. She kicked Nithias right in the chest and caused a scene. Turned out to be a critical hit, which was one of the few times one doesn't want to get the nat 20. Jesse, who was kind of just meandering around as he was told to stay put and not cause troubles, saw this happening and thought that he could now fight people. So he went and attacked some random person. Easy to say, this got the guard's attention. My character didn't fight against the guards and made the excuse that she was startled and by accident kicked Nithias. Never agreed to the story. And DM was nice enough to get us inside the wanted area so we could be checked for injuries. Mainly Nev's character, as the kick's damage took a decent chunk of his health. Jesse got inside too, but got thrown in jail as he kept biting the guards. None of our characters wanted to say he was with them. The entire table laughed. My sister shrugged with, "That's one way to get inside." Think only Veer and Ravana got in his plan. Inside the staff area, we tried to make a plan, but decided to say screw it, when it turned out that no matter how we cut it, we still had to fight. So Nathias got Jesse out and let that humanoid rabbit go wild. Things quickly got ugly. The BBG got a lucky hit, so mine was down to 3 hit points, and Nev was throwing death saves. There were way too many guards for Raban to go over and heal us. So Veer made an attack that melted 2 of the guards, allowed Ravana to get Ninja back on his feet. Still got the BBG to worry about, and he was taunting the others while he was ready to fire another one of those spells that almost killed Neb and my character. In comes Jesse, without his weapons as they were taken from him when in prison, and didn't think about actually looking for them. So he grabbed one of the guards' electricity mallet, but this one was broken, so didn't do full damage. My sister knew it was a terrible idea, but in character she went for the BBG, as Jesse, the stupid rabbit, didn't realize how screwed he was. Well, it turned out Jesse's stupidity would be what saved the rest of us. Kinda. Jesse went into his rage mode, not just any run-of-the-mill rage, but my sister gave Jesse the path of wild magic, and DM put a new spin by adding more wacky shit that could happen. Oh boy, I love wild magic. Okay, let's see where this goes. Last time he was on fire, almost burned our living area down. This time around, Jesse got surrounded by a dark cloud that worked both as to spell darkness and silence. Only Jesse could see in this cloud. He was zoomed in on the BBEG. My character was spared from being knocked out as the guards missed, thanks to the darkness. But she couldn't hit them either of the same reason. Nithias became useless at the rest of the fight, for Neth made him terrified of the darkness due to his backstory. And being inside that magical darkness triggered him. Neth was, of course, annoyed, but also found it stupidly funny that happened. Sigu dragged both Nithias and Ravana out from the darkness, joining Veer, who was barely standing on his feet, handling the remaining guards as none of us could help Jesse. I tried my best to describe how the scene played out. Siku, Ravana, and Veer all stand around Nithias, fighting battling against the guards, and just about staying on their feet as their health is dangerously low, pulling one desperate move after another, and slowly taking out the guards with our united forces. Meanwhile, Jesse has chased the BBEG out into the hallway, whacking him with a broken mallet, and the BBEG tries to hit that stupid rabbit, but misses all but a few, and those few that do miss are half damaged, as that apparently is the thing when in rage mode. He then chanted magical words, prepared to take his stronger demon form. But he can't because of the silence effect! That is amazing! Oh my god! Essentially just canceled the other effect. Wow. So that guy can't stop a little mer rabbit from continuing whacking him with a broken weapon until he goes down. We were all crying and wheezing from laughing so hard at how absurd the whole thing was. And that's how the idiot murder rabbit beat the final boss, played by someone who didn't know what she did half the time. Hope you enjoyed the story and found it as amusing as I do. That is amazing. That is really, really sweet. That is extremely sweet. You know, it's moments like that that makes me really love D&D or just tabletop games in general. Because of just moments like that, just something going wrong or something just simply working out in the favor of you, and it's so ridiculous that you can't help but laugh at it. That's what I love, just like that whole just bonding and whatnot. Because yeah, I have so many good memories playing D&D. Some bad ones, but mostly they have been good, and that's why I just kind of love about the tabletop RPG, um, games, honestly. With that said, thank you all so much for coming. This was a lot of fun. I definitely would love to do more of these in the future. I'm looking forward to giving it a try at some point. I would definitely recommend it. Alright, let's see. Almost 4 hours. I went a lot longer than I thought I was going to. Alright, let's see who is online. Who can we raid? There's a new giantess fairy we can raid. Is that giantess fairy me, little? You always also raid. I think Shino might still be streaming, so we can always raid Shino as well. Maybe. Shino's live. Oh, Shino's live, so we could raid. Honestly, we could raid Shino. Honestly, I would not be against that. Alright, let's go ahead and raid. Oh, what plushie would you like me to snuggle with Delva? We're about to end stream here soon. Or would you rather I refund your points since we're so close to ending stream? No problem, Masterine. Thank you all so much for coming. This was a lot of fun. Definitely gotta do this more. Next time, probably with a friend, because my voice is definitely tired from reading. Snuggle me. You know what? Hold on. Usually it's meant for a plush I already have on hand, but I'll make an exception. So hold on. You know what? Sure, we'll go with this one. Actually, no. Actually, no. Here we go. Here, I'll give you a big old hug. Ducks. Oh, she works. I'm giving you a hug. I'm giving you a hug. Delva. Sunya in DMs real quick. Okay. Okay. Okay, but now for real, what's Raichino? Shino. You know, funny enough, I am gonna be on stream tomorrow. We're good. He's good. Hopefully, finish It's on the Mouse tomorrow, and then I'll be, yeah. But yeah, you all have a good night, everyone. Thank you all for so much for dropping by. Bye, everyone. Bye bye.